That's some dumb shit. Oh man.
Yeah,
Let's see. Let me make sure to get the rock fans up too.
yeah, I know. Sometimes you be ready to go. That shit is so delayed, but it is what it is. What's
No.
up, folks? There's quite a few programs that are live right now as well. I noticed right before I came on. You know, uh, so it's Saturday nights
Yeah.
is getting thick.
And it'd be funny. Like, we'll be the only. We used to be like the only ones that would be live on Saturday Night Live. Of course, of out of like the people in our kind of sphere. Now it's like more and more people are coming on the Saturday Night Live. I mean, which is frustrating, but whatever. Can't do
No,
nothing about it.
I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? I welcome it.
Well,
You know what I mean?
hey, I liked having our own free space.
Yeah, I feel you.
I liked having
You
that.
know, you know what
I'm
they say,
like,
all good things, come to an end,
I'll come
right?
to an end, right? Yeah.
You just got to accept that and move on, But I saw several. There was at least channels that I follow, right? Not just content like this, but even just like music, other entertainment stuff like that. Even there, some of those channels are on live. So I just noticed, it's this is where it's at. I was listening to another program for a little bit earlier today, and they were talking about some of the same issues we'll get into, but he kept mentioning Fox News, Fox News, Fox News, and I was questioning who even watches that. Maybe our parents, as they change the channel, but who's watching Fox News? Who still has a cable subscription?
Airports, airports and hotels.
Yeah, I mean, outside of that, right? What's the demographic of the Fox News viewer now?
I don't know what
They
is it,
probably got
65,
older. They probably got even older. I'd probably say
probably
it's like,
70.
yeah, right?
I
That's what I would think. So, yeah, I don't, whatever, bro.
I kind of I wanted to find this response because this is this person that it frustrates me when like somebody hop on and they'll give me this response for some reason, and then when I try to respond and engage with them, they just ghost, and I'm like, I just asked you a few questions, and so kind of want to go into it
Mm.
that just a little bit. What did I say? Oh, I think it's there this one. Okay, cool. Because I kind of want your feedback on it too. So I got that saved up there, and then we can come back to it. But I figure since um we got some of our
Wesley
friends in the building.
Street, Thomas, what's up?
Shout out to Wesley Streets, Hamza, Thomas, Nitram, Chris H, Meteor Dreams, and shout out to those who will come in later. And if we have the time, we'll definitely shout you out also. Um, Thomas says Chris and Marcus keep some of us sober on Saturdays. I don't know. Sometimes, hey, y'all can drink it with us. Y'all can, have y'all little sip or dip, whatever y'all do. Um, I kind of wanted to. Meteor asked, let's put it on the screen. Figure I'll start off because he's first thing in here, and he was in here nice and early, so I don't want to ignore it. Oh wow, it says 4:45. He put that in. Um, says talk about the clash between Coleman Hughes, Sonny Hostin on the View. I feel like a lot of people are getting this wrong, including Jimmy Dore. Well, I'm not familiar with what Jimmy Dore said.
Me,
I wasn't
me neither.
familiar. There we go. Street says sipping on my deck. Um, I didn't know who this Coleman Hughes even was, or I still really don't know who he is. I only because I looked him up because Meteor asked about him. Um, He seems like one of those black conservative types, and I think I saw something that he said he's not a conservative, or but he seems like in the vein of the black conservatives who go at this race doesn't matter, it's all about merit, yada 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 nonsense or whatever. Um, and I see Chris H says when it comes to race issues, sometimes Jimmy Dore is not careful enough. Me and Chris have said this multiple times, and I think this fits into that same narrative. Most of the people that we deal with in our spaces, when it comes to race issues, they if they're not melanated, they typically fail on the issues because they're talking about something that doesn't affect them. Um,
And they're generally
Coleman,
not and they're generally not close to it in any kind of way. Not professionally, not personally. You understand? So the interaction is going to be low with a lot of these people. And a lot of them spend a lot of time on the internet recording these programs. So how much are they actually going outside to deal with people? You understand? So this is why they constantly fail. The proximity to it is there's none. So this is why a lot of the time, whenever these topics or this topic comes up, they always it gets very awkward after a while. If it's not just cut and dry, it gets very awkward. And they yeah, whatever. Yeah, it gets awkward at times. I'll leave it there.
I'm trying to look up a little bit of his background because a lot of times when you can read into these people's background and it'll give you a better sense of who they are. Coleman Cruz Hughes,
Youth.
which it looks like he grew up in Montclair, New Jersey. Don't know much about the area.
He
Um,
looks gay. Is he gay?
I don't know. It don't say that, but I'm guessing that he grew up with. I'm guessing probably father. Um, and
I
a
think
lot of times when
he's
you,
probably gay.
huh?
I think he's gay, and I only say that not to demean him. I'm only saying that because it seems as if they try to keep that away. They don't want to leave with that, which is surprising. That tomorrow is Trans Visibility Day for those who don't know in
I
America.
don't know nothing about that stuff.
Did you see?
Let's
Did you see
see.
what Biden? You see what Biden and them put out?
Nope.
They said March 31st is Trans Visibility Day. So the people on Easter are mad because tomorrow's Easter for those who celebrate. So he
Mm,
set up a beef with them. But anyway, but back to
s-
Coleman. I heard him
back
talk.
to
He sounded a little bit on the light side, but then he also sounded like he spent a lot of times around, like he went to a school
here.
where maybe
That's why here. Let me because you know that area more than I would. Let me give you what it says here. Hughes is a graduate of Newark Academy and was selected as a United States Presidential Scholar in 2014. He graduated from Columbia University in 2020 with a BA in philosophy. Um, Hughes testified before the U.S. House Judiciary Committee at the hearings on reparations for slavery, arguing against the campaign. He argued that if we were to pay reparations today, we would only divide the country further, making it harder to build the political coalitions required to solve the problems facing Black people today. In this
say
vein, he highlighted
so.
mass incarcerations and high homicide
God,
victimization rates as problems affecting
God,
Black Americans today. He suggested an ultimate proposal of paying reparations to Black Americans who personally grew up under Jim Crow. Hughes went on to say that reparations to the descendants of slaves would insult many Black Americans, um, and claimed that that would make him and one third of Black Americans who poll against reparations into victims out of their consent. And he
okay.
is a gentleman from the Manhattan Institute of Policy Research.
Oh, come on, man. Total. I mean, he got grain coming out his ears. You know, he needs to be watered. You know, they thought his roots were black. So, you know, in other words, he's just a plant. That's all he is, a simple
That's
plant.
all I see is a black plant. That's what I
I
see.
mean, if you if you look at some of the places he's written for or who he's worked with, it's all the same conservative outlets. It's all the same conservative money. You know, it's all the same donors. It's all their same projects. It's all their same institutes. It's all their same media networks and channels. You know, it's nothing new. He's just next up. All right, Candace out of there. Who's up next? We got to get somebody. So this is why he would appear um, on the View to argue against Sonny. So this dude is a total plan. I don't really care what he has to say. Again, talking about I'm against reparations because it would make the recipients of reparations victims. I've never heard no bullshit like that. Please, just yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
well,
oh, come
and
on, man.
I guess what he said on the View, he said something to the effect of, like this color blindness society and all that, and which I've said numerous times. It doesn't matter if I deal, and here's the problem with people like that. They look and deal in individualism. This world does not work like that. It doesn't work like that. I can't just be like, well, these five white guys that I know, they've never been racist to me. That does not have anything to do with how this system and how this country works. And I could just run into a wrong situation, and because of my color, it's going to affect me. It doesn't matter if I try to ignore that reality or try to pretend that reality is not real. It doesn't erase it. It's like if you have cancer, you can't just pretend you don't have cancer because you don't feel sick that day. It's still there. I mean, so the fact that you can just look at the statistics, plain and simple in this country, and people like him is just their own. These people are bought and paid for by conservatives so that they can have a black face to justify their narrative,
Look,
so that they can hide and say they're not racist.
correct. And what did we say? What did we say last week or the week before about Candace and the whole operation? Showed that if you're willing to talk like that, they will pay you. Hence his placement. He's getting
Yep.
some kind of payment to be all over the place, and if he's not getting paid a decent amount, you know, into his check or whatever, the exposure that he will now get. Now, you know, when somebody says, "Hey, you want to come on my podcast?" You know, if they collect money, he could say, "Hey, why don't you give me a few dollars here or there?" So he will be the next guy that you see, you know, on television. The only black men that they put on TV a lot of the times are there's they fall into like three categories, right? The staunch Democrat, the Republican, and what would be the third? Or like
Entertainers.
the entertainer. Yeah, that's it. There's never one who is on point with the things that he says, you know, and has conviction in what he says and is not tied to any of these institutions. His income is not dependent upon, you know, endorsing a war or military service because he's got stock or he's a member of one of these weapons companies. You know what I mean? We don't really see
Yeah.
that.
Well, also I would throw in, um, let's see, what does it say? 2019, he did the what was it, the House Judiciary. So how many years ago was that? It's what, 2024, right? 5 years ago he
Hmm.
did that. So that means 5 years ago he'd have been 23 years old. What has him or Candace Owens did at those early ages to justify sitting in front of a House Judiciary?
Oh, thank you. Correct.
You telling me that there is not a litany of other young black professionals who have like built a business, done something, did this or whatever, that maybe they have a justification to be in there. This person right here has done nothing to get there. So what that tells you is somebody put this person there. They put this person, they platformed this person because they was willing to do certain things.
Because they're willing to downplay the situation of Black America for Black folk in America. It's real. It's not anything more than that. If you think, you can try to write a whole long think piece about it, but it save your time. That's really what it is. That's why he's there. You notice they don't have him talking economics. They're not talking foreign policy,
Because he doesn't know any of those issues.
right?
They brought him
That's what
on
I'm
to do
saying.
one. They bring on these
Black people, these black, clowns and pawns to talk only about one thing. They're never experts in anything else other than mixing it up in the culture wars. That's it. You
Yep,
don't see
they
them.
bring them exactly. They're brought on as a culture war, but baton so that they can use to hit the black community with. This is all these people are there for. So anything that he said to Sonny Hostin or whatever, this was all bullshit. This is Heritage Foundation, Manhattan
Correct.
Institute,
There we
coonery.
go.
This is all
Yep.
it is. So and that's what I'm saying. I don't even have to look at what these people say or try to look into the justification. Let me look at who they are and where they came from. How did they get to where they are all of a sudden? The same thing with like a Christopher Rufo, who's pushing the whole DEI and all that crap. Where do these people come from?
Mm-hmm.
Because or the only other people when Chris was talking about, the Democrats or Republicans. Okay, if you are this civil rights icon, you only start getting brought on TV when they can use you for their side. When one side or the
Yes.
other can use you for their side. And
Yep.
with all of these people, whether it's this goofball, Candace Owens, or Candace Owens, or a Larry Elder, or any Van Jones, any blackface that you're seeing, any of these black faces you're seeing on TV, who
Roland
didn't get
Martin.
there from Roland Martin, or who didn't get there from like a built up an actual sustained career. I mean, it might be somebody that you knew. Okay, they've been doing the nightly news. Then they moved from the nightly news to the major network. Then they, over their years, they built their platform, or they've been a business person and came in and did something, or they're a former athlete and they did something, or they're this big time political leader that they've had this grassroots movement. But majority of the people that you see got there, and Sonny, to bring up Sunny, the reason why she's there is because of her legal career. She did a whole lot in her legal career that got her to the levels to rub elbows with the right people, and it got her on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you got to start looking at how do these people get into the media? How did they get to whose point are they arguing for? Because
Who are they friends with? Who did they go to school with? Because if you went to school with, whoever Sonny Holston went to school with, who, put her on to there, surely she was not going to go on an interview at NBC or ABC and start saying, "Yeah, I can't wait to get on TV and talk about these Zionist institutions." she can't she can't go and say anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So, she has to be on her best behavior.
Mhm.
All of them do. That's why they all tied together, man. And then they all go to
Yeah,
Puff's house. Then they all go to Puff's house for the party, right? Because he's the new Jeffrey Epstein now, according to these dumbasses out here. Oh man.
but
Okay,
oh yeah, next little topic I wanted to kind of
yeah.
breathe some interest into real quick before we got get really into things. Man, I'm gonna go on and share my screen for this one. So, what's his name? Ryan Dawson. He says something. I retweeted. Not retweeted. I quote tweeted, kind of pushing back. And then I get this response. And so I figured I would respond here on the show. So what did I say? Here we go. So Ryan Dawson, when he was pushing back against the um what was his name? Smully. Why is the dildo rabbi allowed to call Candace Owens, a nigger? He is supposed to be a rabbi. Upon further looking at the Talmud, it makes sense actually. And this was my response to Ryan, which I doubt that he will respond to or doubt. I mean, and if I ever get the point where we're sitting on a platform together, I'm definitely going to call him out to his face on a lot of this. Um, I said, this is wild to me. Ryan Dawson, who loves to shit on black people, which I wouldn't doubt calls black people the N word himself, is now concerned about the sex toy peddling habitual lying rabbi doing it. Um, so this person here, D. Calderon, responds, I'm not sure how much of the white nationalist, black separatist, and Muslim extremist operations are actually grassroots versus controlled astroturf, hybrid warfare, non state actors. Either way, it still has real world consequences. And so I guess this is their video that they suggested. And it goes into, in a nutshell, basically blaming everything on Putin. Putin is doing this, Putin is doing that, Putin is doing this, and Putin is basically astroturfing all of these groups. And so I had kind of before I get into, I guess, my long response, would you like to respond?
To what he wrote there?
Well, all of it. Your thoughts.
I mean, I don't even know who Ryan Dawson is, but if you're telling me that he talks reckless about, black folks, then I believe it. You have no reason just to make shit up, right? So
Mm-hmm.
while I don't know him and I'm not familiar with his content and shit like that, some of the more funny money accounts like his that are similar to his, who I have been following or do see retweeted and shit like that, they all are saying something similar like that, but it's disingenuous because you don't give a fuck. But
Yeah,
at the same, but at
I'll
the
say
same
I got
time,
onto
too,
his account because he was pushing back against he was one of the first like people well, not first, but he's somebody as far as a larger account that I know that was really pushing back on Israel all the time. And then I heard him, and then when I started noticing his Twitter account, he was always saying some slick shit against black people. Always. So it's like he rotates. Let me shit on Israel, then go shit on black people, then shit on Israel, then go shit on black people.
yeah. Again, there's a lot of that on. Well, yeah, there's a lot of that on Twitter. At least I'm seeing more of it. I didn't see a whole lot of it before, like when you were saying. I guess maybe this time last year or so. I remember you saying, "Yo, I keep seeing X, Y, and Z. I keep seeing X, Y, and Z," and I was like, "Oh, not me, not really." But I can say in the past, like maybe 3 months or so, I've definitely seen a lot of bullshit. But I suspect some of that comes from people retweeting the dumb shit that Elon Musk is always retweeting and putting out there, because that brings a wide net of responses to Elon, and I think he's on a mission to just prove himself to be the dumbest or brightest person in the room. I probably think it's the dumbest, not the brightest.
Well, I think he's on a mission to change the ideological shift on this platform. That's what I think. And like and I'll put it this way: do I think that the previous owners had an ideological lane? Yeah. Do I feel like they cared more about business than that lane? Most definitely. That's the same thing with most of these corporations and the so-called DEI stuff. There, most of the time, this DEI stuff is coming from uh I had this black employee complain about something, or a gay employee or whatever complain about something. Let's do this program real quick so it can kind of cover our ass legally. And then it's kind of just let's just have some talks and seminars. See, we care about whatever X issue is. and then be done with it. It's not like instituting some actual change in overall policy to these corporations. Um,
Mm.
but on to what she was saying, like she even went in like trying to make it as if like it's not really the USA and CIA who are involved in like all this astroturf movements and things like that. It's actually just Russia. It's Russia who's doing everything. And I kind of really wanted to engage this person, but they just completely
It's
just
not worth it. Yeah, it's
ghosted.
not worth it.
So no, I wanted to bring them on and have a nice little chat, but I couldn't get them to respond. I don't know. I might DM them and see. But it was on my mind, so I just wanted to bring that up. Yeah, and I noticed like Elon Musk, it's like he found every large right wing person who had any kind of a platform and found his best to try to boost these right wing voices. That's what I see more than anything. And it's if you are have some kind of animosity towards black people, your platform is probably going to grow. Or if you're making excuses for people who have animosity towards black people, your platform will probably grow. That's what I'm seeing mostly on here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the sex bots and a bunch of advertisements.
Yeah, I mean, and the overuse of DEI is, you brought it up, and it just made me think of how often I see it, and quite honestly, I'm tired of seeing it. I mean, these guys are so bad with their code. They're so lame with it. I wish they would just come out and just say the words. Just be real. Stop with the DEI, DEI. Like, you know what I mean? We know what you're trying to say, dude. Appreciate the streets. Like, we know what
Mm-hmm.
you're saying when you use DEI. Ironically, DEI to me means that they was gonna put more homosexuals and trans individuals into positions within the government. Upper corporate. I mean, not upper in corporate America. That's what I thought DEI was aimed at. Because if you're talking about a program for Black folks, then I would think you would be more so referring to affirmative action, right? And again, the way that the certain accounts on Twitter are using DEI, it's very much, it's very lightly coded for blacks, niggas, Negroes, niggers, whatever you want to say, however you
Yeah.
want to do it. And that ties into even with the bridge. The mayor comes out
Oh yeah.
and with the
Shout out to Wheezy. What up, Wheezy? What is Truth Podcast? Make sure y'all following over there.
yeah, it even ties into even how they were talking about the mayor of Baltimore, right? When he came out to speak out about, the bridge incident over there. All the memes that popped up racist. They never seen a dude with a blowout cut, a lineup. You know what I'm saying? Like his shit was faded. Like he faded. My man was outside wearing the appropriate attire. Again, it's just that these people have no swag. They have no. I'm telling you, dog. It's the
Well,
proximity to sex.
my thing is, what was it like? Not Hurricane Katrina, but think of any kind of national disaster, and that governor or that mayor shows up to the scene. Do they wake up and then put on a three-piece suit and show up? No, they don't. They
Correct.
never, ever do. Even if it's like a couple of days later. I mean, think about when it's been presidents or whatever going to like this area that's been all fucked up from like a hurricane or something. They're not wearing a business suit. They're just throwing on like maybe some khakis, collared shirt, and they got on like a windbreaker or some shit. But when the brothers show up, he needs to be wearing a three-piece suit to every
You know,
fucking press conference.
and again, they're like,
The
oh, it's a
racism on this site, the racism on X, it's so frustrating being on there because it's so overwhelming. It's not like, oh well, it's just free speech. No, it's a heavy dose of that's all we hear.
you
And for
know,
y'all to
I
try to make this thing that everything's not about race and this country is not racist and it's not being divided, um, Showing me all this racist motherfuckers on here is not making the case.
Well, even going back to the story with the girls, the two girls that fought, right, where the black girls smashed the young white girls head into the pavement, right? Even then, you come to find out after the fact that the white girl wasn't even supposed to be on campus. She had been suspended for jumping the black girl. I think maybe the day or any sometime early prior to that final incident. So the way that they carried that, you think they would even come back to it to do a checkup. No, the fact that the truth is floating around out there, they've just moved on to the next story. So again, they're just very disingenuous. And there's something wrong with them to be in the 21st century with you watching everything that's going on in front of you. And all these people claim to cover news and they see conspiracies and they see this and they see resistance movements. They can't see the strings that are attached to them.
Hamza made a good observation here. He said they tweeted this type of shit because they earn money from likes and views on Twitter. Okay, but if they earning
The
money from
finances,
likes and views on Twitter, then who is incentivizing this? Who is incentivizing this kind of content? And I noticed a lot of these are from like cloned accounts, basically, or accounts that blew up all of a sudden.
hmm?
I mean, so Elon claims he's not racist, but his platform is just getting more and more racist.
Yeah, I don't. To me, quite honestly, does it bother me? I sort of laugh. Sometimes it's like, what the hell? But then other time, I have to remember when I'm outside. You know what I'm saying? And the weather's nice, and I'm enjoying myself. And I look at those, I see those tweets. Sometimes I think like, damn, they're probably cooped up somewhere, unhappy as fuck. And
No,
I
these
have
people,
nothing.
these people ain't cooped up, unhappy nowhere. These people are literally like running a business, doing all this shit, and then secretly hop on and do this shit. I guarantee you,
Yeah,
most of the
some,
people in they family and circles don't even know that they talk like this.
yeah, some of them. But I bet you the vast majority of them are nudniks. They're nobodies, though. The vast majority of them. Because if you was doing something, you wouldn't have so much time to
Yeah, but the other ones are the ones who are incentivized and making money. Or so I guarantee you, like
yeah.
they, I mean, it looks like a whole network, and I think it's probably even a lot of them are bots who are helping feed these larger accounts.
I was, and what I'm saying is their population is dwindling. It's not growing.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
I think this is and it cracked me up. Like I guess that's the tie-in to the first dude that we was talking about, that Coleman dude or whatever. He's there in one instance to try to say, "Oh no, race is not an issue anymore," and blame it all on social media is why things have gotten racist. Like, oh, it didn't. It's like, and what's weird to me is I didn't need social media to have racist experiences. I have them in real life, and every black person I know had them in real life. It's not like, oh, we got to get online to experience this shit. Now, I don't know what this motherfucker Coleman, I don't know what his experience is. I don't know what kind of reality he living in that he's not facing any or hasn't faced any at all. Just like I said, when we're what I heard low estimates to black people in this country about 11% to about 14, 15%. When you're at that low of percent, how many black people do you think are around nothing but white people all the time? You think out of all those white people, none of them are doing racist shit to the one black person that's around them or the one brown person? And so, by the numbers alone, it's a higher probability that if you are that one or a few minorities around a majority of white people, that you're going to run into at least a couple that are racist in there. And more than likely, those couple that are racist are not just your peers. A lot of times they're going to be your bosses. They're going to be police officers. They're going to be the person who owns the business. They're going to be the fucking judges. They're not just, it's not, I guess people think because of these racist people, they're just some random rednecks out somewhere who never have any power. That none of the people who are racist are people who are in power, who pay your salaries. Exactly. Wesley says most racists are closet racists, dinner table racists. Exactly. They get home around their wife and their kids, and then all the shit comes out. They don't tell you about how they do this shit at work.
Yeah, of
They don't,
course. We know, but I'm talking about just the corny accounts I see on Twitter. I don't let it bother me because,
well, I
again,
was just trying to make the argument of this, like that Coleman dude. He making it like this racism shit only comes because people saw a black person get shot, and that gets put online. You know, the Trayvon Martins that gets put online, and then that now it makes all these people all race conscious, as if they don't have no real life experience. Like
oh yeah,
everything came from George Floyd or Trayvon Martin or Sandra Bland. Like all of it comes. All these black people are only upset, and that goes back, honestly, to that account who put that. Oh, it's all astroturf by the Russians, as if, yeah, all these black people, they're just upset about some shit because they saw it online. That none of these people have any experiences that relate them to this. None of it. It's all just all because we all been tricked online to care about something, because it's not happening to none of us at all. Not happening in our families. Nobody's experiencing it. It's just all because of the internet, and it's all made up by social media. Sorry, I didn't even plan on spending that much time talking about all that shit, but
yeah. No, you
it's
good.
frustrating because you see so many people come with this nonsense. Like even the, oh well, these black separatist movements, they're astroturf because of Russia. No, you don't think that it's handfuls of black people? Even if you say majority of black people aren't running to nothing, you saying that there's not enough black people in this country that feel like they ran into enough racism that they decided to create a movement? Do you think that before social media, that all these civil rights movements and all that was astroturf too? I thought it was all done by the Russians. It's just this whole Russia is the cause, or even if it's not Russia, that it's some kind of outside force, that it can't be nothing that people are actually experiencing. I mean, you are we saying like the skinheads and white supremacist groups that have always been, that somehow somebody was just pushing this message to them from afar, that it didn't come from racism in their community, that it didn't come from their parents or family members? I mean, it's mind-boggling to me. You think that like these feminist movements don't come from women who probably are have decided to react in an extreme manner because they felt like they have been, dealt with a lot of misogyny. I don't know. It's just weird to me that all these people think that even these conservatives are these people who are like extreme, these militia groups who decide I'm going to be anti-government. You don't think that it didn't come from some shit might have happened where the government might have fucked them over on their farm and they lost their farm and money and whatever, or not, maybe even not them, but somebody within their community. I I look at that these people are not, most of these people are not astroturf. People have real life experiences, and that's what motivates them to something. Now, do they maybe see something online and it might kindle something in them from experiences that they went through? Of course. But to think that when you see somebody who is a Palestinian or an Arab who sees mistreatment towards Arab, that evokes a reaction. To think that somebody who might deal with racism, or somebody who might be a racist, or somebody who might live in an Asian community and get picked on for being Asian, this shit ain't astroturf. This is people's real life experiences that motivate them. So I don't know. It's just these people who I'm like, where do y'all live where just nothing happens to y'all, that everything happens to you only because of the internet? I mean, I'm pretty sure most of us, at least in this chat, are old enough to remember people who really got bullied in real life. It wasn't just somebody who bitched at them online. It's somebody who physically got pushed into a locker or got their ass kicked or had to go a couple of blocks the other direction to avoid a bully. Can't blame everything on the fucking internet. Sorry.
No, you can't. But that ties into the comments about the mayor. But beyond that, we had an unfortunate tragedy in Baltimore. This
Yeah.
past Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning. That ship crashed into one of the support columns for the bridge, and the whole bridge came down. Everybody saw it already, I'm sure. This is the 21st century. If you haven't seen it, you can look it up. The Key Scott Key Scott Bridge in Baltimore. I'm sure everybody's seen it though. But there's a lot of conspiracies floating around about it. Look at the lights going off. They could still steer, or they should be able to, or I don't really know. To those saying it is, to what extent to back up traffic in the DMV area? I what is the end goal? What was the end goal of that? Was there somebody on the bridge that
Yeah, there
needed to go?
was. Yeah, those conspiracies don't make any sense to me. The only if I was going to go with a conspiracy, and I'm putting this out there first, I do not believe that there was necessarily a conspiracy. I lean in the camp of this was an accident. Um, but for my conspiracy theorists out there, if I was gonna go with a conspiracy, what I would go with is this ship is a Singaporean ship, right? Singapore has ties with China. Right now, you just had the TikTok stuff going on. This could be kind of a fu in a way, and a just a little exact a little bit of aggravation and frustration back towards those politicians, because I guarantee you this is fucking up traffic in DC. Um, guarantee you that much. And for those people who travel through that area, so I can see that. Also, I look at metaphorically. This is kind of ironic. The bridge named for Francis Scott Key, the man who wrote the national anthem, for his bridge to crash and be taken down. It's almost like a symbolic gesturing of the United States about to be kaput from Asian forces. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Don't take none of that shit to serious. Please take it with a
And
pinch of salt.
again, why there? I again, to the conspiracies, to all of them, I haven't seen anyone that really makes much much sense to me. I just don't. I just don't. Sometimes look, accidents do happen. Do we expect them at this? Do we expect it like this? No. The Panama Canal. Remember last year? Was it that ship was turned sideways?
Um,
We
um,
covered that.
Not the Panama Canal. It was the Suez
Oh,
Canal.
oh, okay, yeah, Suez. That's what it was. But
Um, yeah, I know what you're talking about. A lot of people were talking about, oh, because it was like 400 yards or something like that, and it
yeah,
was
and it
and
backed
it
some
had to do
things.
with like the 400, the end of the 400 years of captivity, and yeah, I heard all that.
Yeah, and it was, and yeah, it caused orders to be backed up and things not to be items not to be shipped on time, or excuse me, received on time. That seemed to be the worst of it, though. You
Yeah,
understand? I don't, you know. So again, if anyone can show me something believable, then Of course, I would roll with it, but I haven't seen anything other than sensationalism because they fucked with us so much that now everything seems like it's something else. So
Well,
I said
I'll say
last year
this
too.
goes to what Chris H is saying here too. Says you can't blame people for seeing conspiracies in this boat crash too much. Too much BS has happened. The cough and sneeze food processing plants burn up in East Palestine, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, in this day and age, there's been so much distrust sown in the media, and they've done it to themselves that everything has to be just like I said to somebody. Somebody was like, huh, question this, and I'm like, in this day and age, everything is to be questioned. Nobody has credibility now, especially not online, especially not in official agencies.
Yo, do you notice how many accounts on Twitter are now breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news? I'm about to tell you what really happened. I'm about to expose this. I'm about to show you this. There's so much grifting going on right now on Twitter and the internet at large. Even YouTube channels are getting, they're in on the grift too. They're just misleading people all over the fucking place. It's madness.
Chris, the eclipse, you've heard of that one too, right?
Yes, I did.
I mean, what happened with the last one when everybody's supposed to get superpowers? Like, I mean,
I'm still waiting on mine. That's what I mean. Some of this stuff, because there is a little bit of truth in it or fact to certain things. We take we take it and we run with it way too fast before really having enough information. And because everybody wants to be the first one with it, you just running out with saying the dumbest shit and believing the dumbest shit because you now want to be the first one to tell your circle about what you know and what you heard.
true.
Even
I
with
think that has
and
a
it,
lot to do with it.
and this even with COVID. And I was me, I was never a true believer in any of it. But even with some of the stuff relating to COVID, this was going way too far with the shit sometimes. Like it was like we know it's fake. Let's stick to where we know it's fake and it's just run around doing the most and being too extra with it, you know?
What, yo, Nina, that can't be true. Really? She says they are shutting down schools for the eclipse. Okay, we'll see.
When is the eclipse?
I think it's the 8th. And I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. Um, let's see, 40 days after, watch out for May 18th. What happens on May 18th, Yonina? I thought the eclipse was April 8th. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Could be wrong there.
It is.
Yep, exactly. Wheezy said people always jump in the gun, and I agree. I think, like I said before, I said they have destroyed the credibility of everything, and I think that's part of what the elites have wanted by flooding everything with so much information. When you flood everything with so much information, it's hard to suss out what's the truth in it. And since we have, like, I feel like we're dealing more and more with a society of people who everybody is sure on everything they say. And there's not enough people with humility who are like, you know what, maybe I could be wrong. I'm open for correction. There's not a lot of people who are doing that. And so they're speaking with 1000% certainty. And then the people who trust them, because maybe they've been right on something before, and so they give them that credibility. Or maybe it's just that they're such a convincing and captivating speaker that they're just running with it. And most people don't investigate anything anyway, so they just listen to the voice they trust and then spread the
Well,
bullshit.
what is it behind the eclipse now? What is it? You know, I mean, what's the theory behind it? I don't know anything. I haven't heard anything. But is there something crazy? Are we going to turn into monkeys? Like on Dragon Ball Z, are we all Saiyans now? Like we're gonna grow tails? Like what's gonna happen? Are we gonna turn into Kryptonians? What?
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to be. Kat says I hear people bringing it up. Going to cross seven towns named Nineveh. I don't know anything about. And I've kind of just stopped paying attention to some of these people's crazy conspiracies because they've just went too far. I pay attention when there's something that I can connect, that I feel like, okay, now this might be, there's something real here, not just like what I just told people, like the if about, oh, what was a Singapore ship, and then TikTok and this and that. Okay, I'm just throwing out some bullshit. I don't know any of that. I mean, but a lot of these people are throwing out bullshit, and okay, one or two things that are coincidences and making it the truth. Now, on this next story that I want to go to, there's more than one or two things that connect this thing. Um, but I don't know. Did you have anything else you want to say on this before we move on?
No, I just, I would just like to see the United or the government responsible for, putting the bridge back up. I would actually like to, you know what? I would like for them to move the money and get the project moving as fast as they get the money over to Israel and Ukraine over the past year and some change. I would like to see that. I would like to see like a 24-hour crew, on site working to get that shit, the new one, up and running. But the sad part is this shit'll probably take months before they even get together to have a meeting about another meeting about another meeting. You understand? So everybody could get paid and shit. But that would be the only thing I would like to see. At that point, this is what government is supposed to do. Okay, something happened. It was a tragedy. The bridge obviously affects everybody in some kind of way. I don't mean everybody around the world type shit, but I mean for the people in that particular area. It would be nice if the local government there got that shit up and running, so all of the detours and shit don't have to be cutting through people's house, all the traffic nightmares and all the rest of it. It would be nice to see them actually make the people of the community a priority and get this thing back up. Get it, I didn't seem like the structure was all that bad. I mean, a fucking huge ass barge hit one of it. So, hey, I would expect it to come down at that point. But I would like for them to get it together and alleviate some of the chaos that was caused by this.
Yeah. Um, let's see. I'm trying to remember, like, where did I write that? Where did I? Oh, that's what it was. I know to go to. Shit. I did know where to go to. I forgot the damn woman's name. Rachel. That's her name. Rachel Blevins. Okay. Let's see. Hopefully, I find this pretty quickly. But there it is. Okay. So, hold on. Let me mute this real quick.
Yeah, no, you good, man. The name sounds familiar, who you referenced, but I don't remember.
Rachel Blevins. She was part of RT for a while.
Okay.
Before they kind of, that's when they did their whole like purge and start throwing everybody out. I did hear something. I bet CERN is doing that just to troll us. I did hear some CERN stuff, and that was interesting. I always like the CERN conspiracies because they're always fun. They always like give you some extra with it. Like, oh,
You're
they're
only
gonna
gonna get
open up
me.
CERN. Uh-huh. Go ahead.
For me, you're only gonna get me once on these things, right? You make a big deal about something. You tell me this great, incredible, awesome thing, not necessarily in a good way. Awesome thing is gonna happen, and nothing happens. All right, I'm skeptical now. I'm side eyeing everything. So again, CERN popping up on the internet. Sorry, Onina, it didn't really move me, and I'm not really paying attention. If they open up a black hole to God knows where, then I guess the people close they're going to be the ones that have to deal with it. Hopefully, my black ass here will be all right. There's nothing I can do to stop that shit. So if they hit that button, hopefully they're the ones who go through that hole.
All right, so this is she had on Mark Sabota, and I mean, it's nothing that like last week we kind of talked about some of this, kind of threw out some of these same theories that he's going to go into, but he like ran this shit like down, and was able to like quote different things and prove certain things like with receipts. So if you guys did not see this, I kind of wanted to share this with you. Let me mute.
2024, and just days after a horrific terrorist attack in Moscow took the lives of at least 137 people, we are still in a place of trying to figure out what happened. Just how coordinated was this attack and what was the motive? But while Russia is in a position of investigating the attack, catching, interrogating, always good to have you. And I know that we are in a very tough time right now as we are kind of looking at the aftermath of the horrific terrorist attack that unfolded in Moscow on Friday. I wanted to ask you about the latest from that, as you have the official death toll is now up to 137 people killed. 4 suspects were caught, arrested, and appeared in court on Sunday. So what do we know about this attack and about the individuals who are suspected of carrying it out?
Okay, so on top of the 4 who have been charged with being directly with the attack, the Russian government has also detained 7 others, and I believe in recent hours it's gone up by 3 more who are believed to be part of the support network, those who were complicit and helped arrange for weapons cage, a car, other things, and methods of support. So the list of those involved who will be charged will go up. But there were 4 militants who were directly involved in the attack. It is known now that they were all Tajik nationals. There has been a claim of credit by an online presence that has in the past been associated with ISIS-K, ISIS Khorasan, which is the ISIS subsidiary that has responsibility for operations in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and parts of Central Asia, including Tajikistan. They claimed responsibility for the attack, and they posted a picture online, what appears to be these 4 individuals posing in front of an ISIS flag, except of course their faces are blurred out and we can't really be sure if it's actually them or not. ISIS-K has claimed the credit, and the U.S. government was quick from like minute 0 to jump on this. Years later, they still don't know who was responsible for Nord Stream, but they know immediately that ISIS-K did this, and it was totally not at all, not in the slightest, not one little bit associated with the U.S.-backed Kiev regime in Ukraine. They were adamant about this, and they've pushed this narrative from the very beginning. The Russian government, meanwhile, is very critical of these accusations. First of all, or the U.S. Saying who did it, because their investigation is still underway. The U.S. did issue a warning to its own citizens about an imminent terror attack in Moscow, and to avoid public gatherings, including concerts, several weeks ago. And the U.S. government says it passed on information to the Russian government, but John Kirby has also made the claim that had nothing to do with this attack, that was a separate warning about an attack that didn't take place, I guess. So this is all rather vague. Meanwhile, the Russian government has said that they received no intelligence from the United States and that the U.S. has destroyed U.S.-Russian terrorism cooperation forever as a result of this. The Russian government seems to be of the opinion, and this has been put out by numerous, not by the Kremlin itself, but by numerous other Russian politicians and government officials, that ISIS-K, ISIS Khorasan, is a fig leaf of plausible deniability in this particular instance, and that the real involvement lies with the Kiev regime's intelligence organs, who have carried out acts of terrorism before on Russian territory, including the bombing of a cafe to assassinate Vladen Tatarsky, a Russian former East Ukrainian popular conflict blogger. So we know that there have been, car bombings, assassinations involving bombings have been their hallmark in Eastern Ukraine against anyone who opposes the regime in that part of the country. I mean, hundreds of such incidences over the last decade. So they have a history of terrorism attacks, despite what Michael McFaul may claim on Twitter. They point out that the perpetrators involved, they made no political or religious declarations either during the attack or afterwards, and as far as we know, haven't made some up to this point in detention, appearing before the court as well. They claim that they did this for money, some $5,400. I mean, I know the economy in Tajikistan's not great, but still, they did not fight to the death. They fled the scene of the attack. On the way, they threw away their weapons. When they were stopped, they attempted to run. One of them climbed a tree to try to avoid pursuit, but they did not fight back at all. That really doesn't play up with what we know of ISIS-K's operations up until this point. Usually it's suicide attacks, and they receive religious martyrdom by dying in the involvement. They were also heading towards the Ukrainian border. They were caught in the Bryansk region, just 100 kilometers away from it, which is an active conflict zone, and presumably both sides of the border rather heavily guarded. Considering that Russia is such a big country and borders several Central Asian and Caucasus countries, that would seem to be a better place to go than into the middle of a war zone if you're fleeing pursuit. It seems an odd choice, but the Russian president, in a speech to the nation, revealed that Russian intelligence has discovered that they had contacts in Ukraine who were going to open a security window on the Ukrainian border to allow them in. So this is the Russian government position that ISIS-K is a fig leaf of plausible deniability, and the four individuals, Tajiks, having been selected because, it, again, is plausible that they would be involved with ISIS-K. Now, here's the problem with ISIS-K. Seth Harp is an American journalist. He has long been a credible reporter, a known reporter for writing on politics and international relations and events for Rolling Stone and Harper's. And he tweeted this out, which is basically rehashing work that he has been doing for years and received very little traction on his stories about this. Incredible. The leader of ISIS-K, quote unquote, the leader of ISIS-K was, he highlights the Wikipedia page, the entry goes by the Nam de Guerre Shaheb al-Muhajir, was a contractor at Bagram Air Force Base, the U.S. Air Force Base and primary military base during their occupation of Afghanistan. He then worked as security for the drug lord Rashid Dastum, a top CIA proxy, and who was also, at one time, the vice president or a vice president of the U.S. installed proxy regime in Afghanistan. He later worked for Amrullah Saleh, chief of the NDS, the intelligence wing of the U.S. proxy regime in Afghanistan, the CIA's right-hand man in Afghanistan. And this is not me saying this. This is Seth Harp. What he's clearly indicating is that ISIS-K is a CIA cookie cutter, that it is not a real, shall we say, genuine, or at least not at the top levels, what it appears to be. And I can't help but notice that ISIS-K, what they have mostly been up to for their existence, is fighting the Taliban and conducting attacks against Pakistan and the Central Asian republics, rather than, say, the U.S. military that occupied their country for some 2 decades. Just saying. The Taliban, meanwhile, have put out a statement condemning in the strongest terms this terrorist attack, expressing their condolences to the Russian people, and pointing out that they've been fighting ISIS-K for over a decade. So there's certainly a lot of holes in the story that the U.S. government is putting forward. And we hope that we will learn more as the Russian investigation continues. But obviously, the Russian government has made clear whom they believe was really behind.
Now, that's just, I guess we can leave it there. And I advise, if you guys want to check out this, it's on Rachel Blevin's channel. It's what did the U.S. know ahead of Moscow terror attack claimed by ISIS-K. If you notice something also, a lot of times ISIS-K and this is something that, you know, I brought up in conversation with other people. I've heard other people bring this point up. ISIS-K weirdly is fighting mostly Arabs, and if you look at it, ISIS-K tends to be fighting against people who would be adversaries to the United States and Israel. That doesn't seem strange to anybody.
Marcus, none of the supposed religious fundamentalist groups that have been created, you know, especially after September 11th, none of them have attacked Israel. Not a single one. That's something. Oh, they're supposed to be these fundamentalists, like religious fanatics, but none of them have ever. That is why I specifically said that, even though I know they're mercenaries, but I'm saying for the sake of stepping into their world of propaganda, right? They're telling us, and they've been telling us for years, that it's religious fundamentalists who are behind all of the chaos and fighting in the Middle East. Well, how come they haven't gone after people who are making a mockery of their religion, or at the very least, willing to desecrate holy sites in your world, right? In your religious world, right? So
yeah,
the fact that you haven't done anything over there, yeah. Okay.
Well, Streets says, first time I'm hearing ISIS-K. Can you let us know the difference, Marcus? Well, this is what I'll simply say.
It's branding.
The original
branding.
No. Well, the original ISIS was helping a lot of Arabs and fighting against U.S. troops. And that's when Iran got involved, and Iran fought against. And I won't even say Iran. I'll say Saudi. Other Arab nations fought against them because they were supposedly this overly extreme, like, fundamentalist group. ISIS basically, in partnership with Iran and the U.S. and Russia, all got rid of supposedly the original ISIS. Then all of a sudden, this ISIS-K pops up, and then ISIS-K now is fighting against the fundamentalists, and now seems to be volunteering themselves in Ukraine. and have seemed
Market.
to apologize when they attacked Israel unit. They attacked them in the Golan Heights area, and they said, "Oh crap, our bad. We thought that we were hitting other Syrians. We didn't realize these were." And so they apologized to the Israeli government. So it's kind of weird to me. Like ISIS-K seems to be almost the opposite of ISIS, yet they're just supposed to still. We're supposed to believe that they're still just an out branch, a branch of ISIS.
Yeah, no, it's all the same group of mercenaries. If you ask me, that's it. Same group. They got their benches. They're able to call these guys' numbers up and put them in the game. This is what they do. These. Also coincidentally, you've never seen ISIS go after Saudi Arabia either. They've been friends with their quote unquote enemy for many years, whether it's England or the United States. The Saudis have been, very cool and cozy with those two places, and ISIS didn't even attack them off GP and try to take over the oil field, get some power, some leverage.
regular ISIS was against them, but ISIS-K is different. Like ISIS-K, they were the ones who were trying to take over the schools and do all that stuff like that, and were like real big on Sharia law, and were against like these lackadaisical Muslims, the ones who are like, oh, it's all right to smoke some cigarettes and have some, alcohol, and so what if you got a nudie magazine? They were like, no, death sentence on all that kind of stuff. But this ISIS-K, it just seems like they're just mercs.
Yeah, like the Free Syria Army, just mercs, just mercenaries working for coin. That's it.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. And all they've done is they found people who are on the borders of Europe and Asia who are passable enough as Arabs to do a whole lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically, these people, some of them will technically be Europeans. Some of them, some of these nations that they're coming out of, like these guys are from Tajikistan, which but if you look at some of the other so-called ISIS-K members, plenty of them have come out of Turkey, which is a NATO ally. Plenty of them have come out of what is it, like Czech Republic and places like that. So you're having people who are coming out of all kinds of parts of Eastern Europe and into Asia.
Mm-hmm. It's a fact. I mean, so again, it's just more games being played. Unfortunately, it involves innocent people's lives, but sacrificing people has never been an issue for the ruling class of this country or any other major country in the world, right? That's part of how they maintain their control, is through sacrifice, one way or the other.
I'm wondering, did I send you that what was it from the movie Tenet? I might have sent hold on a second. I might have put that in another link or sent it to myself or something.
I saw that movie and
you know it. Well, do you know what but I wanted to key in on one thing. Let me see if I can find it. This dang it, it was a post. Let me switch through my other post because I could have swore I reshared this when it happened. Not that far down. Or maybe let me go to my other account. I could have swore I sent this, I saved this, but if you look at it, it really goes into some very interesting stuff. I feel like because I want to be careful which account I don't want to just go grab this off the internet and share this and get us into trouble. I mean, I guess I can just tell you guys what it is, and you could probably search it out there. Let me switch. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna check one more place, and then if not, if I can't find the clip, I'll just show you guys.
Marcus, what's on your fingertips?
Oh, it's the green screen. There's nothing on my fingers.
Oh, okay.
See, but if your hand gets too close,
Okay. All right, good. I just wanted to make sure because people are painting fingernails now more than ever, and I can't understand it. And I just need to make sure that my dog, like he didn't get bit, like the zombie didn't bite you in the ankle and shit like that.
the zombie. They don't know about the zombie. They don't know about the zombie.
Just making sure the zombies ain't bite you and infect you with their illness. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, they ain't get me. I guess
And
I can't find it.
You almost in ground zero, either New York or Cali. So,
I mean, well, there's other areas that are far worse, and I'm luckily I'm not near those areas. Okay. I guess I'll just tell y'all what it was. But for those who've seen the movie Tenet, there's this scene where they're going into I think it was a Ukrainian. I think they went to like a Ukrainian concert hall. I can't remember. It was either Ukrainian or Russian. Anyway, the team goes in. It's terrorists that have everybody held hostage. They gas the whole spot, right? Knock everybody out. They extract this one agent who's in there, and then they decide to blow up the mezzanine type level. And it's just so reminiscent of that of what just happened. Man, I wish I could find that.
No, speaking of blowing up, despite everything that's going on with the bridge and ISIS and Diddy and Candace Owens, the government of Israel is bombing the last fucking refugee camp left in Gaza. It's pretty bad what they're doing over there. I mean, not that it wasn't bad before, but I mean, whew, this shit is fucking crazy.
Oh, look, let's see.
Oh, with that nail check.
No, not me. Not me, bro.
I had to make sure. I had to make sure because if he did it, I was gonna have to say something.
Nah, but you see, let me. I'm not keep this thing muted, but you see what I'm talking about there?
Oh yeah.
This, hold on. I think I can.
Oh, the way they looked, the way they ran into the scene where it was like they was at the opera. Yes. But isn't this the second time they shot up an opera in Russia, or there was some kind of event? Yeah, I remember this scene. This in the beginning. Yeah, you're gonna get us fucked up.
I just wanted to show y'all this last part. Well, that's the reason why I keep this thing muted.
Yeah, this Chris Nolan. They're gonna yank this.
But it's not on their website.
Fair use, people. Fair use.
Yes. Now, remember the part that was blown up, the top part?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It looked very similar. See, if anything, they would have blasted this person with 11,000 subscribers who use it. That's why I find some random offshoot channel who decided to share that. What I learned my lesson. What it is you can't go to like one of these big time spots, right? You can't go off of like Movie Mojo or something like that. You got to go down to the little small rinky-dink channel.
Yeah,
you got to go to some off-brand channel who puts it up. But I say go back and look at that opera scene, and I don't know, it's reminding me of some of that funny money stuff. And the weird thing about it is, you flip it, that was in Ukraine, and so just like Tenet, how everything goes in reverse, swap Ukraine out with Russia. Get what I'm saying? And it's like, how do you know that they weren't foretelling or planning some shit out with that scene in the movie?
Gaza, is that Gaza? Hamza, is that a good number? 111,000. So they had to have killed a bunch, and then that means like 1 point something million have had to have either been killed or fled, or some combination thereof. If it's only 111,000, if
No,
that's the case,
they still saying that it's like 1.5 million. I mean, to 2 million people who were still floating around there at the Rafah crossing. Last I heard, they haven't said those people all fled yet.
yeah, no, that shit is. Again, it's something that it comes up in the news feed. Obviously, if you have cable news, you don't see anything about this, not to the extent to which we see it on Twitter. And thank God for the tech. I mean, it's unfortunate that it's happening, but we are watching this shit in real freaking time. Just it's hard to watch, dog. I'm not even gonna lie to you. We have problems here. People are messed up here. I get it, but I can look at people here and say, "God damn, you got it tough," and I can look over here and say, "God damn, they got it tough too." Right? I can do both. I can do both, and it's fucked up what's happening over there. It's beyond fucked up. You understand? And I wish there was something we could do about it in each case, but we're powerless unless you're willing to actually go do something physical and sacrifice damn near everything. And you as an individual aren't going to be able to make that difference. So it is going to take numbers of some sort to be able to do it. But on the flip side of things, when they calm this round of ethnic cleansing, when they shut this round down and the smoke clears, they're not going to like what they see when that smoke clears. Let me tell you.
I'm wondering how, and see, this is like, I mean, hate to go back on to talking about the whatchamacallit, the people online again on Twitter, but this has frustrated me with a lot of people in the Black community too. You saying that's messed up what's happening to those people, that doesn't denigrate your love for your own people and you wanting to take care of Black people. That it's not like that conflicts. It's not like, oh well, he said that's sad what's happening in Gaza, so that means he doesn't care about Black people. It's like you got a lot of that energy on there that feel like I only have enough energy to care about what Black people are going through. And to me, I call bullshit on that. I mean, I can sit there and care about what's happening in Palestine, care about what's happening in Haiti, care about what's happening, in all of these other places at the same time.
They're gonna call you a Pan-Africanist.
That I'm not. Well, here's the thing. I can care about what happens in Singapore, Vietnam, all these other places. I can care that women can't walk around safely in India. That doesn't mean that I'm part Indian too. I mean, I can care about what happens throughout the rest of the world without that meaning that I don't have love for trying to fix the ills in my own community. I mean, I think that's childish that people can't, have a sympathetic heart towards what somebody else is going through, and they feel like that takes away from helping their own people. That's just ridiculous to me. What did you say, Streets? To be honest, Marcus, they got a leash soon as you hit the payment, talking about a real dollar. Yeah. I mean, a lot of these people too. It's just only online talk. It's not like they really are actually even doing anything for their own damn people. It's just talking. It's online virtual signaling. And so
Well,
maybe
the
that's
other,
why they feel they don't have the energy. And shout out to Gregory. I see Gregory's in the building on the Rockfin
Gregory,
side
what's
and
up, man?
Turin. What's up,
What's up,
Turin?
Rockfin folks? You know, Marcus, the other thing too, not only, okay, fine, they say I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. Okay, these are global events happening. Don't you want to, like, at the very least, monitor what happens, who aligns where, you know, what will there be any blowback, if any? You know, how does this affect us in terms of policy, things like that, even to cover it from that angle. You don't have to look at it from the sympathetic angle of, damn, I feel bad for the Palestinian people, but you could cover it on that. They won't even do that, right? It's almost a certain level of ignorance towards it in some of these, and it's primarily Black American channels
Hey,
that I
Ruby.
see on. It's primarily that group whenever it comes to covering geopolitics that they get this ignorant fucking attitude and I don't understand. Again, you don't have to be waving the flag of every other country. I understand that. You want to wave your country's flag, the United States, go right ahead. You're more entitled to do so. You can focus on your people's issues. There's not a problem there. Nobody's saying that. But at some point, you do have to connect the dots to realize, like, dog, it's the same people doing the same to everybody. That part you need to wake up on. Because the dudes in Iowa and Arkansas and Indiana who run around on the internet saying nigger, nigger, nigger and shit like that, they're the ones I'm talking about who have no power. But the ones who can get you on and off these platforms for saying the wrong things in their eyes, those are the ones who wield power. And I just want them to understand the difference between the two, because it seems as if they don't get it yet. That there's a large section of our people who don't fucking get it. And it's frustrating. You know, you voiced your frustration about other things, Marcus. Like online, I see this. And you know, maybe for me, coming from where I come from, right? It was some of this stuff is like it was already known to us in the 90s, right? Late 80s, 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of this shit with the Zionists and shit like that. I grew up hearing about this shit, right? Watched it, lived it, all this other thing. So to some people, this is like new. It's the first time they're actually looking at it. And yeah, correct, correct. To some people, this is new. So to speak on the FBA and the rest of them, some of their rhetoric on it is really bad. And I wonder if their plans too, at least the ones on.
I wonder. Sometimes I think that some of this stuff that I see on there is a plant so that they can help take away from people who are well-meaning within the FBA community. I really wonder that sometimes. And then, well, look at it like this. I think Tariq, one of the biggest leaders in the FBA community, is a plant. So, I mean, that's a big part of it. So I don't know. I just feel like, and you're right. It is, most of this shit is online. Yeah, I guarantee if I talk to probably more of these people in person, the people, they don't really think like these online people are.
Yeah. And Tariq is a plant with a strong follower. Yes, he does. You know, yes, he does have a strong following indeed. For those who don't know,
Exactly.
that would be Tariq Nasheed. I'm not gonna lie and say that I don't and say that I don't know who he is, or I won't say his name or anything like that. I
What?
personally,
He's sticking up for Diddy?
really, I didn't see that. You know, the
Yeah,
only look.
we'll talk about the diddler in a minute.
You know, all right. I mean, I'm ready to go on that. So if you got something else,
Let's hit because we haven't talked about Candace Owens yet, and I figure that's quick, so we can throw this Candace Owens thing out there, and then we can get on to the diddler.
you know, look, Candace has That is a
Oh,
you
I
know,
mean,
go the Candace thing. You know, I see they send that guy Ben Shapiro. Yo, they look. Let me not say anything about people's physical appearance. Let me be kind. Though they put out that little pussy of a man on the internet to talk to everybody with the really light voice. They gave him some facial hair to make him look like, that he is a man. But I think he's trans. I think he's a trans man, Ben Shapiro. I think it's a woman who is
no, I
undergoing.
think he's that girl. You know, you seen her. He's that female, like just going back and forth.
Yeah, but they keep putting him out there, and now they have him on TV or these shows. They have him on these shows for him to be to act as every other television person has acted on all of these shows for as long as we've all been watching them. Controversy happens or something happens. They bring somebody from this network or this side of the issue on. You want to have a quote conversation, but they stick to their talking points and they stick to the position they had that they were going to take before they even accepted coming on the program. So I saw people questioning Ben Shapiro. I don't even remember at this point, but was it Piers Morgan? And he was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna talk about it." You
And
can
then he
ask him.
kind of did talk about it.
Doug, I mean, again, Piers Morgan's. You've been around Piers Morgan. Again, this is all the bullshit theater. This is how bad the entertainment is. Like this, how oh man, the writing.
No, Chris. Here's the bullshit with it. Ben Shapiro's going to do all these interviews with all these people right after because he did an interview there. He went on to Dave Rubin. He went on to like he went on to like 3 or 4 interviews like recently.
Mm-hmm.
You know why they're bringing you on here. They're bringing you on here, Ben, to talk about Candace Owens.
Mm-hmm.
Full stop. You know, even if you say, "Oh, I'm not going to answer that," you are answering that. You know, you knew why they're bringing you on there. So you took those interviews so that you could kind of throw your shots anyway and defend yourself because they're getting a lot of flack over there. And I mean, even from Daily Wire listeners, they're getting a lot of flack.
The other thing is for the people who keep reaching out to want to talk to this dude. Again, they just want it for views and for their and for narrative control. Because he would never sit. Not that I would want to talk to him, but imagine if he came here, right? One of the first things I would ask, for instance, is like, "Yo, bro, she was all good when she was literally pouring diarrhea over every and any black person on your network. That didn't cause for you guys to have a town hall meeting. It didn't cause for you guys to do anything other than offer her a job and probably a promotion and possibly more money. Why is it the moment she said, 'Yo, Israel's wilding,' all of a sudden now there's a fucking problem? And don't even talk to me about this Christ is King bullshit. I don't want to hear nothing about that goddamn phrase either, because they're making that to be, it's a stupid argument. I'm not willing to get into it. The problem is not that she said Christ is King. The problem is that she was raising criticisms about the state of Israel, the money the United States contributes to them, and the nasty proclivities some of them have, especially that one Rabbi Shmuley who owns the sex toy spot with his daughter. That's all this is tied. That would be the only thing I would ask, right? Because it's nothing else. Because if she got on there and said niggas remind me of monkeys, there would be no press conference. We wouldn't see these people having to do all this talking and explaining. No, she'd be good. Like she did all her time. Like she did all her time over there. And then now she's trying to find her way back into. Now she's not find her way back into, because she never was. But she did the interview with Joe Budden, and then she went on the Breakfast Club, and then it just so happened in chronological timeline that she was let go after the Breakfast Club, as if she said something wild on the Breakfast Club, which she didn't. she's very smart in knowing what to say and what not to say, how far she can go with that particular group. She can't come back to any place where she never was to begin with. Candace was never over here on the side of us, ever.
Yeah.
Ever. There's nothing about her that says she's on this side. Look, you marry and love who you want to. She's with an English guy. She's fully immersed in that lifestyle with his family. It is what it is. You're not of this. You don't have no friends. You don't participate in anything. I mean, I'll make a joke, but you don't come to no cookouts. You damn sure wasn't invited to any. So the way that they put Candace Owens out there to talk for Black people, or even the segment of Black people, is very, very, very laughable.
Well, I mean, it goes to what we've been saying about Candace for a long time. And shout out to our buddy, friend of the chat, also Sabby Sabs in the building. And I've seen, like, I agree with what Sabby was saying.
Barry, look,
She's pointed out on this Israel Palestine. We rock with what she's been saying. Oh yeah. I was about to put it up there.
She just mentioned Barry Weiss. I don't think you have to go any further than that, right? That's it. Boom.
Period. It says it there. Yeah. Coleman Hughes works for Barry Weiss. He defends Israel, and he smeared Aaron Mate. And I said that all you got to do is, okay, somebody prop this dude up from somewhere, and it makes sense. That's the reason why he shot up there out of nothing, because of the tie to Barry Weiss. Oh, let me put that back on the screen for a moment. And this ties with what we said earlier in the show. The Coleman Hugheses and the Candace Owens are all propped up, by other people because they want their message out there. And this is just a way where they metaphorically can speak in blackface. They put them out there to parrot whatever the narrative it is. I heard Amazing Lucas say that he watched Candace Owens being coached. So all that shit that she's been saying on the conservative side, that's all been coaching. And all it is over time now she's remembered the shtick so she can do it on her own. And I feel partially the only reason why she's felt comfortable at even challenging Israel and trying to hop on to this bandwagon is because she sees Tucker is out there open, and the possibility that she can jump off of this Daily Wire ship and hop over to what Tucker Carlson is at.
Yeah, but even Tucker is she's not of the same complexion of Tucker. Okay, she can't.
Oh yes, she can. But she can hop on with Tucker. The reason why she can hop on with Tucker is the same way how she hopped on with the Daily Wire, how she hopped on with Turning Point USA. She's going to work for another. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. She's going to go work for another white person if she don't start working for herself. Which I don't know if I see her doing that for too long, because she gets more eyes while she's working for somebody like that. But she either going to go work for a Tucker, or she going to go work for what's the one who now he's been criticizing Israel. Well, I'm not gonna say now. He's always kind of been criticizing Israel.
Nick Fuentes?
No, not. Well, Nick has a lower profile than she does. She's going with somebody who, if she goes to work for somebody, it has to be somebody of a bigger profile. Alex Jones. Now, I could see that also, because that would get her a lot of attention. Or she might have been large enough now where she has a name for herself and she could do her own platform. Yes, Alex Jones, InfoWars. Yes, because she sees. I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff that Alex Jones has been saying of recent. The only reason why he's even in any kind of scrape is because of the Sandy Hook stuff. But he's another right-wing, larger platform too.
He's made a couple of comments I've seen recently where, he's actually leveled some sort of criticism towards, the Israeli government. But again, for somebody again who's known so much for so long, he just now goes on Twitter to get his
No, no,
thumbs
no,
to
no,
be
no,
on.
no. And I'm not an Alex Jones defender. I just want to say this:
Yeah,
Alex Jones, as far as people on the right, he has been way ahead of all of them. I'm talking about like 10, 15 years ago. There's him on tape saying Israel is someday going to get the U.S. fucking nuked.
yeah, I remember you said
That's
that.
what he said. Israel is going to get us nuked. They are not our ally. All they do is get us into more and more shit. And so he has always been the criticizing Israel camp. So
You
that's what
know,
I'm saying. I just want to get, keep, I just want to, make sure that we're not dealing that we don't smear the guy or say something that's untrue, because he has been, I'll give him that. He has been criticizing Israel.
yes, he has. But let me say this politically, right? You know, I am not really into the politics of things that much anymore. But let me just say this though. Again, as usual, as an outsider looking at it, I will give Candace credit for one thing. The fact that she used her Christianity as her shield and not her race and not her sex, that was a pretty smart move, because you had a lot of people saying now, oh my God, I'm a Christian, I'm being attacked. Da, 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 I'm being attacked for being a Christian. Christ is king, Christ is king, Christ is king, right? Okay, cool. How are these very same people going to square away the fact that they're about to go stand in line and donate to and support another Zionist? I mean, they're going to support the Zionists yet again, even after all of this revelation, right? Even after knowing about the relationship between his son-in-law Kushner and Netanyahu, right? It's like,
Well,
how they, how
no matter how you swing it, if you're voting for RFK, Trump, or Biden, you're still rocking with a Zionist. And for the people who's like some of the leftists who are like, oh, well, I'm not messing with them, I'm going for Marianne Williamson, you're rocking with a Zionist too. So,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
mean, unless you're going to go into Dr. Shiva camp, who's not going anywhere. I mean, I don't, there's nobody who's running for president right now who has even a shot in hell at winning who is not a Zionist. I mean,
Correct.
or even Cornell, who's not a Zionist, he's still soft on them. He's still tepid in his criticism. So there's nobody to advocate in that area. Yes, Sabby says we warned people last year. Marianne was a Zionist, and I remember watching that interview live. I remember where I was at when I saw that interview, and I was like, this is bad. This is going downhill real fast. It was because I knew where it was going to go. And the crazy part about it is before Revolutionary Blackout did that interview, I had people, and I don't know if people remember, it was this weird guy who hopped into the chat, and we showed a video for him once. He eventually came out that he was a Marianne supporter, and he wanted us to interview Marianne. And he was like, "Oh, I can set the whole thing up and this and this and that." And just the whole attitude that I got back and forth dealing with Marianne's people, I was like, "Nah, this lady, I don't know if this is her people who are like this, or if this is just the whole camp, but all I hear is entitlement." And even outside of the Zionist issue, one thing I really can't stand about Marianne Williamson is she doesn't completely even listen to what anybody's saying. She starts interrupting because she thinks she knows where you're going. And so she starts getting defensive before you can even finish your fucking sentence. Neo's algorithm. Yep, that was it, Savvy. That was the fucking dude. That was that little punk piece of shit kid. That was him, Neo's algorithm. And he went around to all the other content creators and just kept badgering and badgering and badgering. He started off like kissing everybody's ass. And then once we'll give him a break. And especially since he was a new content creator. And for content creators out here, fault me on this. I'm going to make this mistake over and over. if you're a new content creator, yes, yes, I will talk to you and this and that and try to see what I can do. I'll come on your show and stuff like that because I want to help, smaller content. I mean, we're still small ourselves, but anybody who's smaller than us, we want to be able to reach out and help them also. And this dude, we reached out, tried to help him. We showed his thing on here live. We were going back and forth with him, and he went around pushing her everywhere, which I think I kind of came to find out that he's like he was a volunteer for her staff. That's the reason why he was like this so much. And so I knew then just the entitlement, the the how dare you talk to me this kind of way attitude that you get off of Marianne Williamson, that it comes from the top, and all her people think the same way.
Well,
Sorry to go on such a rant.
You
Yeah,
have to.
Linnea.
I like to remind people that the ruling class, they do tell us the truth.
Oh, hold on a second. Let me put that in there. Kat says if Sabby is available, send her a link. If you're interested, if you want to hop on, I'll send you a link. No problem, Sabby.
It's kind of like I was
saying. Hey,
saying,
Chris, take it for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah, the ruling class, they tell us the truth, despite all the lying, right? Because what did Joe Biden say many, many, many years ago? Hey, you don't have to be Jewish to be a Zionist. They all are. Marcus, she in the bed chilling, man. She probably got herself, maybe last little bit of ice cream. I hope it's chocolate chip ice cream from Baskin Robbins. That's to me, that's my favorite ice cream. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Joe Biden told you don't have to be Jewish to be a Zionist. You don't have to be. They all are. I until people really accept the level of control that we are dealing with, the more things like this sounds crazy, because you would never think that, all right, a group would be this pervasive, but they are, man. They've done their work. They knew where to put their people at high place: education, the law, finance, and you can just spread them out through all those different fields, man. I mean, look, the Texas governor, what did he do? He just had an executive order the other day. What was that?
What Greg Abbott? What he did is to paraphrase, he basically just made like a safe space bill for Jewish kids at campuses.
Now I had to just check the numbers real quick. I think they said there's 175,000 Jewish people in the state of Texas. And that state total population is 29 million people. So you had a governor making it take time to write out an executive order for a base for a group totaling 175,000 people. Okay, all right. If you think they don't have naked pictures of your boy Abbott, don't doubt it.
I don't even think that's what it is. I mean, I think what it is the Christian Zionism is coming to the forefront in how impactful it's been within our government. And I think a lot of people take for granted how many Christian Zionists there are who they're going to do whatever Israel asks. And it's not because of money. Some of it is money. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the Richie,
all of it is money. All of it is money.
No. What I'm telling you is, from somebody who grew up in the Bible Belt, these are people who believe this stuff. These are people who believe that in order for the Messiah to come, Israel has to be Christian Zionists and Christianity. In order for the prophecies to be done, the Jews need to be in their land. and they need to be in their land, and you need to bless them, and do not question a single thing about it. That's what they believe. And I've
But again,
grown up with the pastor Hagee types and all that. These people send in tons of money to Israel. They believe this stuff. They
yeah,
believe it with every fiber of their being.
I would just draw a line between the performers and the congregation. The performers know better. The congregation is the ones who don't know shit, but the performers, they don't buy none of that shit for a heartbeat. They getting paid and they know what they supposed to do. They're not at all believing in any type of scripture or anything like that. These people don't buy scripture, bro. They just read it because they know the congregation will give up the money. They know how to use their silver tongues to get the people to pay their tithes and to contribute to all the bullshit. You know, again, for all the talk that conservatives do, a lot of them, for how bright they are, how smart they are, they speak to their IQs, and you know, we're a high level IQ. You black people, you know, your IQ is close to the bottom. Da 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 da. You know, for our situation here in America, at least we had to deal with the worst type of subjugation. They're so easily brainwashed. Us, you had to physically beat us down. You had to create systems to make sure that we didn't come up. You had to create systems to make sure we stayed down. For them, they just had to talk. Yo, so they really are the weakest link of people in the country. They're the most gullible. Because look at them, just now, in 2024, they're just now waking up to the possibility that there is a conspiracy, if you will, regarding Zionists and Zionism and all this other shit. They're really slow. They're really slow on everything. Is that because of all the inbreeding they do? And I'm being purposely ignorant when I say this because, you know, going back to some of the things that they say online, I mean, you know, sometimes I'll throw a little bit of ignorance against their ignorance, right? But I don't know. Maybe it's some of those recessive genes coming to the forefront. I can't explain it, bro. I can't.
I mean, I'm not gonna even fight against you because it's funny. Liz was just asking me about, you know, the different inbreeding stuff too earlier today. But I mean,
Marcus, they're so
I'm
smart.
not gonna go against that because I mean,
Marcus,
well,
real quick. Sorry to cut you off.
Sorry, no, I'll let you go. I'll let you go. Go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, let me just make this last little point too. They're so dumb that since even 9/11, we know the vast majority of people who make up the United States military come from pretty much the middle of the country, right? Conservative country, the Bible Belt, and things of that nature. They've been sending their sons to die in the Middle East for 23 years now because of what the Zionists have been pumping into their head. They're not that fucking smart. And they really should turn the volume down on all their rhetoric, all their talk about IQ. They can turn that down and they could start to learn some shit. Yeah, I know. I see Marcus. I can see Marcus is frozen now. And again, I'm not trying to be hateful. I'm just calling it, as Thomas said, I'm just calling it out, man, because a lot of these kids have died, maimed, or been damaged from what they had to deal with in Afghanistan, what they had to deal with in Iraq. You know, some of them had to deal with shit in Pakistan.
Conservatives are not going to get it. I mean, you can't I mean, even if you berate them and prove how ignorant they are, that's not going to get the message across to them. What I've learned, I mean, and here's brainwashing is a powerful thing. Brainwashing is extremely powerful, and it's something that I'm even gonna what is it? I'll be talking about it on Hebrew Apologetics Thursday night coming up, where we're gonna go into talking about the Schofield Bible. For those who don't know what the Schofield Bible is, the Schofield Bible is a study Bible that basically Zionists funded a lot of people in the different Bible colleges to accept certain types of certain breakdowns and prophecies and doctrines and all these different things like that. And it's a Bible where it breaks down every single verse within the 66 books of 66 book Bibles. And so it goes through chapter through chapter, giving the breakdown which the Bible colleges go off of. That's the reason why they all have the same dogmatic beliefs, and that's where the whole term Judeo-Christian values, all of this stuff is all pushed in, all concerted from Zionists. And that's how you ended up having the Christian Zionists in the first place, because all of this came from brainwashing. This brainwashing gets done in seminary schools and so on and so forth. So if you've been ingrained with this for so freaking long, and generation after generation after generation, it's the same thing with Catholics. All of these traditions that Catholics have, none of that stuff is biblical, but they've made it up. And since they've been doing it for so damn long, they just keep on doing the shit because of brainwashing. I mean, and it's the same thing with these conservatives. These conservatives have been told, if you bless Israel, you'll be blessed. If you curse Israel, you'll be cursed. And in their beliefs, they believe that this is the real, that these aren't converts that they're talking to, that these are the bloodline descendants of King David, and therefore they have to, of Christ himself. So therefore, they're going to bless them without question. Now, some of the younger evangelicals are waking up and pushing back, but any of them who are our age and older, no questioning at all. That's the reason why you see the right wing is still firmly in the camp, and that's the reason why you're going to see Bush. I mean, not Bush, but Trump. That's the reason why you're going to see him still kowtowing to Israel. The only reason why he came out with this little bit of criticism is because he's been approved to criticize them. Yep. Sabby said right there, they taught us they taught it to us in church when I was little. Exactly. When you get taught something at an early enough age, it sticks with you.
Yeah.
Here, let me refresh and I'll come back in. See if this will help.
Hamza says, let's be honest. Are these so-called conservatives really conservative? No, they're really not.
But what does it mean being a conservative?
I mean, at least in this, Hamza, explain what you mean, like your definition of conservative. People like to conserve, like what? Conserve nature, conserve their heritage. I don't know what they're actually conserving. It just seems to me killing everything. But that's something else. They're not really conservatives. To me, they're just people who don't like the racial composition of the country, and they'll complain about every fucking thing until the day they end, because they have it in their mind, this fantasy about what life was like when grandpa and at this point it would be great-great-grandpa, the type of life that great-great-grandpa have, you no longer have it. But those days are long gone, man. These people are culture warriors, and
this is what they are.
They're born culture warriors, and they're gonna die culture warriors.
This is what they are. Wesley has it 100% correct. Conservation of tradition, I would say, and it's correct. They want to keep to how things were for past generations. Think about it. When these people think about make America great again, they think back to the 50s. Now, economically, as a country, the 50s were the best economic time overall for the population. But there were still a whole lot of people who weren't getting the benefit from that. But they don't give a shit about those people because it wasn't their people. They weren't real Americans, how they see it. And so they like the time when a man could smack a woman on the ass. There's no problem. They could say, get the fuck out of here, you niggers and fags. They miss those days when a black man would just have to cross the street so that I don't want no problem, Mr. White Man. This is what they really want. They want everybody back in the place of where it used to be. Like Wesley said, it's not about conserving the economy or ecology or any of that stuff. They want it just old school way how it used to be, when they can make the racist jokes and the sexist jokes and say whatever they want to, where they didn't have to deal with black bosses or women bosses or Hispanic bosses. They want that. They want, when they used to walk into a office and it was pretty much all white men who were sitting up there leading everything. That's really what majority of conservatives want, and a slight attachment to Christianity. Yeah, let's go to church every Sunday, but let me come home and beat the shit out of my wife. That's what they mean. That's what a conservative really is. There's no, it's not like it was ever a time when conservatives really cared about the Bible and following any of it. Because if you go all the way back to, slavery times, most of those slave owners went to church. Many of these pastors kept slaves also and were just as racist. So it didn't never have anything to do with some kind of like real grand moral ideology. It just went with following traditions of America. That's all it's about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They grandpa's time. That's what it's about. I mean, just having no one to say anything to, no one to challenge their authority in any way. That's how they want it. And they have this fantasized version of it. But going back to Kat made a comment about the Christ is King thing. All right, that's it. She said, "Don't you think the Christ the King controversy wakes up some conservatives about what Zionists actually believe?"
Nope.
Yes. On some level, I do see some of them like starting to question on some level, say like, all this time. So there is some level of quote awakening. And why do I use that? Because I'm starting to see more mention of the Talmud in spaces where I didn't think I would see mention or reference of the Talmud prior. So the fact that they are even posting what is in the Talmud and they're sharing what's in the Talmud and they're questioning whether or not that is true or not, to have people in their own circles say, well, goddamn, yeah, this is. So on some level, yes, but will it be enough to even crack that community and have 50-50? No, I don't think so. It will be some who will, you'll have some seeds that will fall off the tree, so to speak, but the vast majority will still have the same mindset that they currently have.
Yeah, Turin over here on Rockfin, he says, yeah, most of the clergy aren't actual believers. I think that they believe to a degree. I mean, this is how I know. I mean, most of them don't actually even read the Bible, and I'm talking about clergy don't actually even read the Bible. They have a handful of areas that they'll even engage on, and they read a couple of verses and then just kind of freestyle it on whatever the hell that they want to make that mean, regardless of if that's what the topic is at all. I mean, so if the leaders of these churches, they don't even really know what the hell they're talking about, how can we expect the parishioners to know anything either? Yeah, Gregory says good old boys, good old boys in the good old days. That's really what it is, because most of these people are, they're all about the culture war. This is all.
That's it.
I mean,
the only thing they would, for them to have to listen to, because you can see in a lot of their memes and a lot of their quote unquote jokes, through their jokes and through their memes, through their comedy, they're really telling you about what is mostly bothering them, right? When they post pictures of when it's a military inspired meme, right? What do they have? They put a woman up there. Most of the time, it's a black woman who is in the service, and they say, "Oh, goddamn, our people fought and died just to have to listen to this," right? It's it's a whole bunch of like that they're bothered by, or the athletes who they see with their women. That's another thing that bothers them to no end. But me, I think it's more. I think it's a lot more simple than what it is. Their proximity to sex is far away, dog, and that makes a lot of them very bitter. And they get into these, they jump into these enclaves of the culture war, and they just start shooting at people because of it. That's what it is. They ain't got no swag. They ain't got no energy. That's why they make who they make popular. Look at all the people they make popular every single time. It's all cornballs.
Cat says here, I can see the lack of knowledge from those who claim who read the Bible. Prosperity gospel is a good example. That's all the church has pretty much become. And I could say the church probably for easily the past 50 years, that's all it has been. It's just over probably the last 10 years or so, more people have woken up to, man, this church ain't about shit. I mean, I saw it in the chat earlier. They everything that the Bible says not for them to do. Even let's say you don't even believe in God. Let's say for those people who are complete atheists out there, the ethics to keep to your moral code. It doesn't matter if everybody else believes. You don't even keep to the shit that you say you believe in. And therein lies the biggest problem with the church, the contradiction. Wesley said here, Christ is king is perceived by some Jews as an underhanded jab.
Correct.
And I get that they can see it as an underhand jab. But here's the thing. Everybody has the different things that are within their faith. Muslims have certain things that they believe and that they say when they call people infidels and all these different things like that. Jewish people, especially many Orthodox, read stuff in the Talmud that takes jabs. I mean, they think Christ is king is a jab. Read through the Talmud. I mean, I did a video on it, like going through a bunch of different things on it. And what they'll try to tell you is, well, this was during a certain time period, or this is not what everybody thinks, or this is only in this circumstance. And once you like go back and forth a little bit, you'll find out there's no real justification that they can back up some of the things that are in the Talmud. For instance,
well, again, this is narrative.
Here. Let me finish real quick. For instance, Ben Shapiro is a perfect example since he's the one that we've talked about recently. Ben Shapiro tells you that he buys into the Talmud, and he was like, yeah, we don't really buy the stuff about Christ. Well, what he did is he kind of tiptoed on it. He didn't say what the Talmud actually says about Christ, that he's burning in hot shit and that his mother was a hairdresser and a whore. That what kind of jab is that to people who believe in Christ as the Messiah, and for many Christians who believe he's literally the manifestation of the Lord coming to flesh? So I don't want to hear that Christ is king, anti-Semitic. Or what do you believe? When Christians come, they don't even have to say what they believe, and they go to Israel and get spit on.
Well, Marcus, remember, let's take this discussion out of the realm of belief or religion, and let's just put it in the realm of media and politics. Who controls all of this media? If you want this phrase to be deemed negative, then you just have your fall person, Candace, be the spokesperson for it, and therefore we can effectively use this phrase and throw it in the whoever uses this phrase is anti-Semitic pile, like they do with every fucking thing else. So this is why it has become a thing, because it is something that the Zionists can now use to paint people as anti-Semitic. So therefore, you don't need to pay any attention to anything they say. Look, again, sometimes I think people tend to forget that the Zionists are playing chess, and they are thinking 5, 6, 7 moves ahead. Sometimes we are literally just catching up to their very last move, as opposed to knowing what they're about to do, next and the step after that. Sometimes we're a little bit too slow on the draw.
And and I'll put it this way. And if you're speaking of specifically like Jewish Zionists, if you've had a history of being in the country, rising to a certain level, doing certain things in the country, pissing off the people, then having to leave that country, go into another country where the people were like, you know what, we feel sorry for what they were doing to you guys over there. You guys can come in here. And rent and repeats the same thing over and over and over. You move in with your money and wealth and you invested in certain things, and then you start pissing off the people. Another country says, we feel sorry for how mean these people are over there and what they did to you. Then you leave that country, and then those people who felt sorry for you are now like, wait a minute, we kind of see some of the issues that they were complaining about. Second thought, y'all need to dip. And then that happens over and over and over for 190 countries before the last one decides, you know what, we're just not going to kick them out. We're going to do something else. And I'll leave it vaguely on that. But I wanted to read this one. I wanted to respond to this one thing, and I'll give it back to you. Turin says here, trouble with the Bible is how. Okay, I'll hold that. What was the question?
I was just saying, for our FBA friends and our ADOS friends and like that, right? You know, who don't like to discuss, you know, this group or this topic or anything like that. What do they say about the Negroes who get elected to Congress, like what's the light-skinned brother from Jersey, Cory Booker, and what's the other guy, Richie Torres, the dude from the Bronx? What is he? What do they say about those guys who come out and are clearly telling you, "Hey, fuck my neighborhood. I'm Israel first. I'm Zionist first." What do they say about that? What do you think?
I never even hear them mention them.
Okay, exactly.
I never hear them even focus on and that's the thing. They spend their time focusing on people online or people who are content creators, but they never go after any of these people who either inadvertently say screw the black community or directly say I'm not going to worry about doing stuff for the black community. They don't go after anybody who can actually like affect things. They spend their time bitching at random people online for not being foundational Black American enough or not guarding hip hop. I mean, stuff like that. Or not defending black hairstyles. That's like typical things they love to focus on. Not guarding the so-called culture of black people. But I wanted to respond to this real quick. Turin says here says trouble with the Bible is how easy to find directly contradictory passages. So which values do you pick and choose? An eye for an eye or turn the other cheek? Well, here's the thing. This is why I teach the Bible on my other channel, and this is why I have such an issue with so many pastors and criticize so many pastors, because they take things and read things completely out of context. For one, when it's talking about the eye for an eye, that's in the Old Testament, literally. In the New Testament, well, in which I hate the terms New Testament, Old Testament, because it's never mind. I won't get into that. But anyway, the turn the other cheek, that's what Christ is saying. And what he was referring to is, yes, in the Old Testament, eye for an eye. If this person was murdered, then their family has the right to seek death against that person. Yes. But when he's talking about turn the other cheek, he's trying to appeal to faith of letting things go, of learning how to forgive. And so it's not a contradiction, but it's a piss poor explaining of things. And many of us who grew up in the church, many of us like spent decades in the church, didn't learn a damn thing because they didn't teach a damn thing. All it was how can I milk more money off of you? How can I mess with Sister Jenkins? Let me not worry about, let me get in church and gossip, and let's just hoot and holler and fall all over the floor. And that's what church is. It's not actually teaching most people anything. That's the issue. Sorry, I just had to, as somebody who is a believer in reading the Bible, I just got to push back on some of those things.
Yo, Thomas is funny. He said Chris got an FBA hairline. Somebody should tell him that.
Oh wow.
But Thomas, they would say I'm a tether. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and then I was like, well, I don't know. Am I a tether or not a tether? I mean, what happens to the people?
No, you're not a tether
but what,
because you're
but what happens?
Because
but not all my family. But what happens to the people where
with your mother and your father, at least look, if you're saying that you tie to native people here or you tie to, people who first got here, on them slave ships.
No. Because there are plenty of what I'm saying is, okay, so let me throw off just the craziest one.
You would be a bedouin.
Say you're no, say you're completely say your mother is Asian, but your father is black. You pass for black and you get treated as black. Where does that person go? Do they not kick it? Do they not FBA?
Oh, no.
That's what I'm saying.
Sorry.
The whole idea of the FBA stuff is just it's
no, you're not. It only it only pertains to Americans who can, draw their lineage back to, early America.
Well, what if it's only through one? What if it's only through one parent? Right. So, but here's my thing. Okay, one parent's Jamaican and one parent is American, Black American. So does that mean you're not FBA?
It means you're a half tether.
See, that's what I'm saying. I can't deal with these people. They're just stupid. I can't deal with this shit. I can't. That's why I don't even entertain the FBA people.
Oh shit!
Chris H asks. He says, "So turning the other cheek meant refraining from seeking retaliatory violence." Or yes, it means basically to try to show forgiveness. If somebody is in the wrong, you don't always have to, because at that time the Israelites were so hardcore with the law. And so they were by the letter. If you did X, this needs to happen to you. That. And so basically they were so ready to kill everybody over every offense. He's like, yo, why don't y'all chill out? You know that you ain't doing stuff right. You not doing stuff right. So why don't you have some forgiveness in your heart? That's the reason, like when he was telling them not to, ye who is without sin cast the first stone when the woman was accused of adultery. That's what that's about. Yeah, by the letter of the law, she's supposed to be stoned. But do y'all really want? Because also in the Bible it says, "Be careful of how you're a judge, lest you be judged in the same accord." So, if you want to judge people like that, be careful, because when it comes back around to you, no, that same judgment can be upon you. So he's trying to convey this message of, let's just try to be more forgiving, and let's not always be in a rush to give this harsh judgment on people. Yeah, sorry, Miss Jenkins, because hey, well, actually, no, sorry to Mr. Jenkins, because it was Miss Jenkins that had the problem.
Oh, but Chris H, absolutely, and I've addressed that. Me personally, I've addressed that too. The way that the people from the African continent, the way the people from the West Indies, the way people from Central and South America, when they get here, the way that they talk about Black folk, Americans specifically, is out of pocket. Thankfully, it is not all. It's not most. It is some. Thankfully, but yeah, no, there are several negative and nasty and ignorant attitudes in that group either. Thankfully, it does not transfer down to their children, who have to live and go to school and work and play amongst, the Black Americans, because the kids most definitely don't feel that way. You might make your generalization here or there, but better than to just apply it all the time to everybody, because a lot of people who don't fit that bill either. So like I say, it's better that you just apply common sense, So what did media say?
Oh, so here I was gonna say this. But Gregory, though, they consider Puerto Rico and Cubanos, tethers also.
Oh yeah, they would be tethers as well. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So no, I'm not good with them. So anybody, you say you Haitian, say you got a Haitian parent and a black parent, you're not in there. You're not cool. Also, if say for instance you got any kind of like mixtures of this and that, is I mean I know in my DNA there's all kind of mixtures. I'm not even gonna go into all of it, but I mean according to them, they're like, oh, your grandmother who's native and all that. No, I don't. I'm not cool in their book. Maybe that's why I have the issue. Maybe that's what it is. It's because
Correct.
I'm a complainer in part 1 4 2 4 3 4. I don't know tether, so I don't count.
Meteor, yes. Kamala, it would be. They call her a tether. She is a tether.
No, they won't. No, they won't.
Well,
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why Kamala can't be a tether. How could Kamala? Let's okay. Where let's assume that Kamala has a bunch of black. Where does her black come from?
Oh, you don't have to be like necessarily black, but if you pass and you deal with Black Americans or you deal in the diaspora and they'll put you there, you're benefiting off the diaspora or black people, then you are a tether.
I would argue that majority of her is not even black.
Yeah, correct.
I would argue at best, we're talking about maybe about 15%, because Kamala's father is not all black. Kamala's father is black and Asian and Irish. So he's like 25% black. Yeah, Media, you gotta remember it's super, super late over there. And she does her show earlier in the day. So she's probably about to nod off any moment. I've forced Chris to stay up late like this all this time, so he just used to it now.
Yeah, but Marcus, let's go into I think we
got everything. Diddy time. Diddy.
But yeah, I think we should.
Can't stop. Won't stop. Take that.
There's a couple of things about this that smells quite fishy. Let me just say, first thing is that he met with the authorities before he got on the plane that day.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that. I mean, I know K-Flex might be defending Puff. I heard Uncle Luke, he didn't really defend Diddy. He questioned how this went down. Like, most of the time when you're dealing with high profile type people, the feds could just call you in for an interview. They could have just showed up to his spot with warrants. They didn't have to like bring in like SWAT units and all this like they coming after fucking Pablo Escobar. They didn't have to come like that. You get what I'm saying?
There are,
and he also brought up that they came in the daytime, when typically, in the hood, if you was dealing with some weight, they come in at like 3, 4 in the morning, some kind of ungodly hours. They come in at crazy hours. They don't come in at 12 in the afternoon.
As a matter of fact, somebody just posted him maybe like 30 minutes before you and I came on down here in Miami. They saw him in the coffee shop. And they just posted him. He was in there with Stevie J. He just said what up to everybody. And, the guy turned off the camera. So he was just seen. So all of this started because of this dude, Little Rod. Who's Little Rod? Little Rod was a producer.
Who is Little Rod? Why would you call I just want to know why you call yourself Little Rod. Why are you telling people your business?
Yeah, that's like talk about double entendre, right? Ugh, ugh.
He like, yeah,
Anyway.
girl, come holler at me. I got the little rod.
Oh shit! Damn, you lose already. Ugh. But anyway, so Little Rod is a producer who worked with Puff on the last album that came out in 2023, I believe. The Love album. I can't remember the name of it, but that might be it, right? Boom. Of course, Homeboy doesn't get paid. He starts a GoFundMe to raise money to sue Puff for not paying him for his contributions to the album. The GoFundMe was not successful at all. He didn't raise very much money from the GoFundMe, not even enough to pursue the lawsuit against Puff for his money. So what does he do? He finds a lawyer and then he goes to the feds. And he goes to the feds with the most craziest stories. Are they true? We don't know. I can tell you this. The complaint that Little Rob filed has been amended 3 times since it's been filed. Okay? Look, that's not really good that you've had to amend the complaint 3 times already. It honestly seems as if this guy, along with a few other people, are saying certain things about Puff that are raising the alarm to the feds. I mean, look, did they have Homeland Security and them running there? Yes. Well, they went to the feds and made a federal complaint about him. They're not going to send the Miami police in that instance. They're going to send some type of federal agency to conduct that search warrant, right? Because they're dealing with the feds. So I think there's 4 people who are willing to testify about Puffy, but let's be honest, dog. Everybody just want to know who is fucking who. Everybody just wants to know who's getting it on, who's bisexual, who's gay, who is doing this, who is doing that. You understand what I'm saying? Hamza, they just had him in Miami. Literally. I'll send you the post. Homeboy, he posting it all over. But anyway, yeah, there's something about this that doesn't seem right because again, they raided his shit. They raided his shit. They seen him. He gets on the jet. He comes back. He was out with his daughters the other night, right? And then today he's out and about, clearly not moving like a man who is ducking or hiding from the law. A lot of this, I was wondering, did they make this thing bigger than what it was just to cover up the fact that they was bombing in Rafah and they wanted our attention? Because if you look at all the accounts who had just been starting to talk about what was going on in Palestine and Gaza, they all of a sudden everybody got consumed with Diddy news. Everybody and their mother became a fucking expert on Puff Daddy. They got all these old pictures. I'm telling you, all them accounts like the Dom Luker, the Matt Wallace, all them accounts that continuously keep tweeting breaking news. We got this to show you. Breaking news. I'm about to expose breaking news. You're going to learn this. Shut the fuck up. Again, it sounds like this Puff shit is what it is. A bunch of wealthy people having drug and alcohol and sex-fueled parties. The guy Little Rod said this. Puff grabbed him by his penis and grabbed his anus. I don't know how another man grabbed your anus, but whatever, he did, right? So he grabs his penis and his anus and he continues to stay by Puff. You telling me you were abused, you were assaulted, and you went back and you stayed over there for months at a time while you was working on the album? Come on, man. This sounds like Homeboy didn't get paid, so now he's running with the most salacious, craziest fucking stories that he could fucking find. And is there some evidence that he has? Sure. But I'm sure all of it's just going to show men sleeping with men. It's going to be a lot of gay shit more than it will be heterosexual shit. Yeah,
This
Marcus.
is dang it. Cool. Let's click. Damn it. That's not what I want to click on. I'm trying to open up this one article because I'm not even looking at it from. I mean, that's probably what people want to look at. Why the hell is this not? There it is. I honestly think that this is going from something else. I said before, when you have a situation like Diddy going on, and any of these people, it's a matter of when you get on the level of a billionaire, who pissed off who. Now, the all of this stuff, I think, are symptoms of what's going on. I don't think the FBI and all that are concerned from some little raw dude. I mean, not over sex parties. I mean, Homeland Security and all that. It's only two reasons why entities like this get involved to this level. They got evidence of something, or somebody big wants to make a big deal out of this. Mm-hmm. Now, what is the motives for these people who want to make something big out of this? Because just like Keefe D last year was talking shit, saying that Puff was involved with the Tupac murders.
Correct.
That's something, but and I go into, even if he is involved, even if he was involved in all of these different things, there has to be a reason why all of a sudden that they're coming after you. Let's say he was the one who put money on it. Let's say he was the one who had something to do with Diddy's death. Let's say the other like 12 people from the company that he was involved with. Let's say he did take out all these people. Let's say that he took out all of these people. All the times that he didn't beat the shit out of somebody, had to come and apologize and give money. Times where women have accused him of doing XYZ, and he's thrown some money at it and it's went away. All of that stuff went away. Even the Cassie thing, which is a much bigger deal than whoever this little raw dude is. That was a much bigger deal than this. That was more. But
that opened the floodgates, because probably behind the scene there's probably a lot of people going to Puff saying, "Yo, I'm gonna say some shit if you don't give me some money. I'm gonna."
But what I'm saying is, and I just gotta say it direct. Then they are not coming after Puff because some niggas done said some shit. They're not on that level. It got to be somebody with some actual power. And it takes back to a conversation I was having with somebody earlier in the week.
So look, do you
remember who did Diddy sue? Who did Diddy sue?
I don't buy that. The fact that he sued the liquor company and Dagan and all that other shit. I read up on all that. Again, to me, that's dead end. I don't buy none of it. That was just another thing.
But you really believe that it's more likely that some random producer, their word was enough to get Homeland Security and all them involved?
I'm saying they're probably looking at between what was released in the Cassie case and all of the things that this man is alleging. I think they felt like they had enough, because they said that
you can send the police for that. You don't have to send Homeland Security and all this other shit they did. You don't have to do it to the level they did. You don't have to do all that for shit like this. This is regular police shit.
Little Rod and them, the four people who are participating in the case, they went to the feds in New York. That's who has the case. They didn't go to the local prosecutor. They went to the feds.
But even if you go to the feds, if it's not something that is considered a federal crime, then the feds will kick the case.
But if you're alleging that he's trafficking across state lines or international borders, either people and or drugs, if you're making a claim such as that, and if you're like, "Yo, this dude really doing it and he got the money," they're not going to flip that to the local branch. The feds is going to handle that. That's why we see it there. To me, it sounds like a bunch of adults doing their own thing. To what extent this shit turns criminal and there's a case here to actually lock him up. I don't know, but they, to talk about powerful people, Lucian Grange was named in this complaint, right? The one that everybody keeps talking about Puffin, right? Lucian Grange. I don't know if many people are familiar with the name of Lucian Grange, but he is the head of UMG, Universal Music Group. Just look at their artist roster, and you can see that is a very that is a very powerful roster of acts to wield control of. Lucian and his lawyer have now filed, I think, a counter suit against Little Rod and his. I think they're actually going after Lil Rod's attorney, saying basically like, yo, this is the worst type of law practice we've seen in the longest in forever. So we do have the big boys going after this attorney. So we will see if this is the cover that Puff needed to get out of this, because he's saying that whole dude lying about everything. And media, Wendy Williams, she exposed that Diddy liked to play with men. Again, the whole thing is that Diddy liked to fuck dudes. Who cares? You know what I mean? Who cares? And that's what's generating a lot of this, the attention, is that we're about to find out that somebody who got kids, got a lot of money, looked like a dude, getting a lot of chicks, also really had, is really gay or really super duper bisexual and really enjoys being a cuck at times as well. It's the gossipy aspects of this that are really pushing this shit. It's not anything that I think I need to see more on the criminal side of things. I need to see what they do. They've done their investigation. They did their search. They executed their search warrant. Obviously, they're pouring over evidence and things they have found in the house. They're probably interviewing other people. So once that process is done, then I would like to see how they handle Puff going forward.
See, what I don't get on this is you go to the level of we're going to run all this trafficking and all the big agencies, and we're going to make all this fluff for nothing to happen. That just looks bad on the FBI and Homeland Security and all those people. I've never known of them to just, we're just going to randomly do this shit for no reason. And we don't have nothing that's going to stick. All on just somebody's word on, hey, go look over here.
There's four people.
But four people saying something without there being any kind of solid incriminating anything, it just sounds thin. Yeah, but Cassie's situation has already been settled out of court as a civil thing, not a federal thing.
Correct, but I'm saying she's working with them now, so we will see what, if anything. But again, we've gotten to this part. They still haven't issued a warrant for his arrest yet. Again, that's
if that's all it is. These people saying something. I don't think there's going to be a warrant issue for his arrest, because this doesn't sound like anything.
I'm waiting to see in. I've seen a couple of attorneys' opinions on it, and that's what got me to thinking. They was like, yo, the 3 amended complaints already look mad suspect from the plaintiff side already. So again, we'll see how this shit plays out. But this big distraction, it is a very big distraction. Obviously, it's going to get people within the hip hop community. It's going to get people within, young people. And again, surprisingly, it got all these right-wing Twitter accounts too. They're all over this now. Now Jay-Z's going down. Taylor Swift is going down.
Well, no, I've even heard hip hop people saying that this could leak back to Jay, not just some right wingers.
Yeah, no, I know that they're biting it off hip hop. They're going and reading what they see, and then they posting it on their shit without giving credit to where they heard it from or the source. Because I can see the wording, everything is all the fucking same. So yeah, there are people in hip hop who are saying, "Oh, Jay-Z's going down. Jay-Z's going down." They've been telling me that Hove was Illuminati from 1999, 2000. They've been telling me Hove was Illuminati and that he's going down. Yo, it's 2024.
Well, if he's that's kind of contradicting. If he's Illuminati, then he's not going down.
Thank you. And so
if
it's very
unless the Illuminati has decided, okay, at this point we're done dealing with you, and it's time for us to put you down or put you back in your place. That's because because it was who was it? Uncle Luke was making he's like, these people are the ones who put you in the spot where you're at. And yeah, you can have all the complaints and all the shit like that, but typically nothing happens until you pissed off somebody high enough.
And Hove ain't pissed off nobody. So, I mean, again,
what I'm saying is that, but Diddy's pissed off somebody bigger than Cassie and all them.
It's a possibility, absolutely. Or
somebody. I believe that this case doesn't come at the level that they're. I mean, now, will the feds be like, yo, we need to have an interview with you? You need to come into the house. Will they come in with a search warrant and just walk into the house? Yeah. But bringing in the whole SWAT unit. Now, I get why they did that with Trump. Trump was because, like I said, people decide that they want to come after you, whether they have something or not. If you have the Democratic Party and the Clintons and Obama, people like that deciding that they want to try to smear you, even if they see political people know, even if we just run the cops through there, that's going to look bad enough on Trump that maybe that can affect him because they are dumb enough to think that. I don't see political. I don't see the tie.
You just
well, you think. Click. Yeah, well, I'm trying because somebody who's bigger than him is pissed off.
But Marcus, we saw the feds, and again, I hate to use this, but we saw the feds run up in Mar-a-Lago and take a whole bunch of boxes and say that this guy was doing this, and that, and they're still under trial, and we know whatever. I'm just saying. We have seen them use the feds before.
Yeah,
but these are the same FBI too who play games with terrorists too, right? They give everybody all the equipment, they send them on a mission, and then they stop them and say, "Hey, So the feds are not above the they're not above.
I'm not saying that they are. I'm not saying that they are, especially when you get to the high levels of the FBI. It's all about politics. Now, I get when people do this shit for politics. I don't get the political why they would do this with Diddy. I don't. That's the part I'm not understanding. And typically, like for instance, you go into the situation with Bill Cosby. I think Bill Cosby stuff came up because somebody was pissed off. And then when you start looking into the land deal and stuff like that, the fighting back and forth on that land and the oil and stuff, for me, now I can see why people are giving him this grief. It goes into the Michael Jackson stuff. Michael Jackson was trying to do business deals that would have resulted in billions of dollars.
No, Marcus. No, hold on.
Seriously, no.
No, Marcus, let me say it. Michael wasn't trying to do it. Michael did the business and got their shit. They was mad.
That's what I'm saying. They do this shit because some business shit didn't go their way. That's what I typically see. The same shit with Prince. All of a sudden now Prince is just oh God, you know, they just misdiagnosed and this high level doctors are supposed to be so brilliant, mixed up medications. Same thing with Michael. Convenient. They don't never fuck up ever, but right at this one time, now they fuck up.
Yo, ain't George
and
Bush
I'm just
still
noticing,
alive? Ain't George Bush still alive?
Yeah, But here's another one. Everybody's known about what R. Kelly was doing for God knows. People knew about the R. Kelly shit when we were in high school. And we've been out of
probably before high school.
Okay, so let's say before high school. So we're talking
like
about
7th grade.
probably like we let's say this shit been going on. People have known about this shit for 30 years. People have known about this shit for 30 years, and now all of a sudden they come out. It's like it's like I said with the Bill Cosby shit. 35 years ago, he drugged this woman. Why is this coming out now? And I look at, not that like the Kavanaugh shit. Oh, well, when we were in high school, he tried to rape me. Really, woman? What, 40 years ago when y'all were in high school? This is now the first time you want to bring this out on the national stage? And I'm not saying that every single body who comes out with something after a long period of time, that's the reason why. I look at the Tara Reid situation, and I truly believe her. I believe she had her reasons for why she didn't come out at the time, come out right away. And I get it. She felt like, well, maybe, for my career, I can just get past this shit or whatever. But then when you realize, you know what, maybe I can't get past this shit, and fuck it, I'm going to fucking let the information out. But I don't get most of these situations, how all of a sudden these celebrities, and it's not just one person. This is a litany of people. All of a sudden, you're able to find 15 people at the same time who all come out with this abuse that happened. I'm not saying that the abuse didn't even happen. That's the crazy part. I'm not saying that the shit didn't happen. I'm saying the timing on why all of a sudden now it comes out.
I don't know. Maybe it does tie into that. What is it? Not Bacardi, but Daigle. Is that the name of the parent company for Ciroc? Daigle or something with it.
I believe it's Diageo.
Something like that. Has some foreign sounding name.
Well, remember we were talking about groups of people. If you go look back into who the people are who started this company, owned it, and who runs a lot of it, I just wonder, maybe he pissed them off in some kind of way. And then I don't know. Did you see Uncle Luke, what he was saying?
Did he say they always want to tear down black billionaires?
No, that's not what Uncle Luke said.
Oh no. Okay, so then no.
No, Uncle Luke was saying, you got to remember, these people put you on the level. These people made you a billionaire. And then they'll start off with, let me see if I got that. Because he was saying some stuff, and I was like, maybe that could be, they decided maybe this brother need to be humbled a little bit. And maybe nothing will happen from it. But maybe at the same time, something might happen. And even if it's not that he goes to jail or anything, maybe he could just, pockets get a little lighter. Dang it. Where is it? I don't know. Damn, I don't have it there. I guess I have to look it up. I'm going to have to look it up. So bear with me a second. Uncle Luke Diddy. Okay, here it is. Let me share screen. Hold on. Definitely don't have to watch the whole thing of this. But at least the first couple of minutes or so. Well, no, I think the first couple of minutes he goes slow. Maybe I think it's like 10 minutes in.
There's some trifling people out here. There's some people out here that's trying to get over it. I've had many, me personally, I've had many people, right? I've had these wild yacht parties, all this shit they're doing right now on the yachts and all that. But the people around you have to be professional enough to make sure that they got to protect any white people that have been accused of something. You ain't even accused a man of nothing. You ain't even been accused of nothing. And you roll up in their crib with all the and you dragging the kids out. I just feel sorry for the kids to be involved in this, that you're treating kids like that. Like this man, some notorious gangster, he Noriega or some shit like that. This man's not Noriega. This guy's not a tough guy at all. Diddy is not a tough guy. And that's why when I be talking, hey, look, if half of these brothers consult with me before they go to acting crazy, they could save millions and millions of dollars. And I might need to open up me a consulting firm called Save a Hope. Captain Save a Hope. When you go and you get these billions, you see them put you up on a pedestal. That's because they put you up on a pedestal. They made you the guy. They placed you on every network. They sold you to all y'all on here. They gave you 5 million followers. They put all this, they dress you up like a fucking hoe on the street. They gave you the Bugattis, they gave you the mansions on 2 different coasts. They put you up on a pedestal because they need you. It's like some pimp shit. When you got your main girl, you dress her up and she look like this and look like that and do this and you march her into the big room. I'm telling you. So when they put you on that pedestal, and then you start thinking it's about you and you want to take over their shit, them people look back like this. Hold on, what do you think he is? Oh, we'll show you better than we can tell you. Then they'll try to reason with you and they'll talk to your manager because your manager look like them. And they'll be like, hey, tell your man to chill out, you know. And then the manager come in and he trying to keep his job. Hey, guy, calm down. And then you go walk around like it's all about you. You got all the cars and the mansions and the jets and all the yachts and all this and all the people running around. You talking about yeah. And now you want to fight. Now you want to bite the hand that feeds you. Don't your mama ever always tell you that? Your mama say, never bite the hand that feeds you. And so this is how the major corporations work when you try to come after them. Now you put a lawsuit in. Bam, lawsuit. That shit, I'm suing their ass. I'm taking their company down. That shit. They taking my brand and my name and likeness and they making millions of dollars. I want out of this contract. And now, mind you, these people on the stock market, they stock go down 5%. That just cost them some billions. So they're looking at this to the shareholders. This is affecting our stock. They got to hold on. You just up some billions of dollars. These are major corporations that are on the stock market that you can affect their stock and cost them in one day billions of dollars by having their stock drop because your sneakers. You telling people you don't want them selling your sneakers, or you don't want them they stealing money from you, ain't paying you off the liquor. Them people like hold the phone. Okay, get the lawsuit. Now, when you get the lawsuit, you got to go to the judge, state judge. They definitely own the state judge because they're going to buy the number one law firm who put the most money into the state judge, into the local judge campaign to make him the local judge. Big bank take little bank. It goes back to CeeLo. The federal judge, they're going to then find out what senator and congressman that called the president to say, I need an appointment for my federal judge, because how do you get an appointment for a federal judge is because I'm a major donor. And hey, man, I got a friend of mine that's a judge, man, on the circuit level. Man, I would love for him to be a federal judge. And I'm going to max out in your campaign. Matter of fact, I'm going to generate a couple $100,000 or $1 million and put in your campaign. You win the seat. You didn't call up the president. President didn't say, hey, look here, man, nominate this mother right here. So now you got a fucking judge in here. You got the state judge. So then now you black man who don't own these people company, you want to talk all your cash money shit. And you want to go after these people, what ends up happening? They start the smear campaign because they down with the media. They got to smear you. before you go into the courtroom of your peers. They go, okay, we can't settle with this dude. We can't have no voice of reason. He want to act crazy. Now we're going to go after you. Now we're going to call up our same senator. Hey, man, I need you, man, go issue a search warrant, man. I need you to drag this mother. In the hood, that's what we call it. I want you to drag his ass. I want you to have all kind of allegations. So by the time he come in this courtroom, he going to wish we're going to take every fucking dime you got. Because we made you. You didn't make us, God damn it. You with my stock, you with my money, you with me. I'm going to put you. I'm going to break your ass down to the lowest term. That's how this shit go, boss. So when you with them people that put that bread in your pocket that made you, they're gonna take you down to the lowest terms. Sound like the movie Scarface. Bingo. That's how they do. So you go, they done smeared your name. By the time you get in the courtroom, you lost already because you're sitting up there with a jury looking at you like you're a file, and you probably ain't never touched a little girl in your life. And you're trying to sue this major corporation, this major respectable corporation, and they're gonna say how many people they employ, how many people, and half the people on the jury drink their shit. Half the people on the jury, children walking around with their paraphernalia on. You get ready to sue them, and they'd have made you through the media, they'd have made you a crazy man, and they'd have made you a goddamn foul, they'd have made you everything that you're not. I'm giving y'all some good shit today. Never bite the hand that feeds you. So now when you walk up in that room, and you make the deal, you cut the deal with the devil, and then you got one. He want to talk about everybody else who's still in the room. You know. That's why I be sitting there looking at that shit. I'm like, he telling on everybody. You know, because you in the room. You know this motherfucker run this motherfucker. That motherfucker run that motherfucker. You know. Now you really went rogue. So then now when you tell a dude, hey man, I need a feature. Oh, no feature with you, boss. No, you fucking what feature? Hold on, sample? No, bro, you can't even sample my shit. I don't know. No. That's how the thing go. I'm giving y'all some good shit. They go like, oh no. I know I can't clear the track. I don't want that heat.
Thanks for tuning in tonight.
But yeah, that's what I was talking about there. Like,
yeah, so
you start pissing these people off. You done pissed off somebody. Maybe it's not the liquor company, but he pissed off somebody. I think more than likely it probably is. And people are like, well, but that was like a while ago. Yeah, but court stuff, that shit it takes a while to go through it. Just like if they don't have dirt on you, if they don't have a way that they can smear you, then I feel like they might decide to get you up out of there. And maybe it can be sabotage, maybe it can be other stuff. Like, I still believe, like, if we start really digging into the Kobe situation, and his court proceedings, and we'll think, oh, well, this little case, it didn't catch no kind of flack in the media. It was just a one-liner story. We only heard one person report about it, and there's nothing. To us, it's nothing. But to these major corporations, this is a big damn deal. And you could be the difference of them losing tons and tons of money, or maybe not even about to lose. You could have lost them some money along the road. And they're like, you know what? We got something for your motherfucking ass. Might not do it right now, but we got something for you coming. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. Mm-hmm.
You know what? It could also just be, you don't rub too many people the wrong way. Not even just like one person or one group. It could just be too many people you have crossed, right?
With power.
So I don't really know, but all I'm saying is the fact that he hasn't been charged yet. I know it's early, but the fact that he hasn't been charged, that's what.
Well, this could be that shot across the bow. Like, yo, motherfucker, we can really fuck your shit up. Now, are you getting the hint? Do you want to play ball now, or do you want to keep being stupid? Because we can make sure charges get dropped, and we can make sure that you look horrible in the media, and we actually do get our pound of flesh because we know back in, we know you did this. We know for a fact you did that. We let this slide in the rug. We let that slide in the rug. We do got shit we can hit you with. And that's how I see it, because I know this motherfucker done did dirt, and I know that they've covered up his dirt.
You know, again, this is one of those things where, you know, more will be revealed. Because right now it's all speculation from all of us. None of us truly know. But I don't want to go too deep in one direction or the other. The way that some of these accounts are treating this, to me, that's more of the story for me, is accounts that don't pay attention to hip hop, don't even like the culture, how they are making this a focus of their accounts and all of these other things.
Because it's the hot story.
Yeah, I've never seen them use it this far before. So, you know, I guess I'll just keep watching it. But I just thought it was very interesting that they went from, is Israel maybe doing too much in Gaza to Diddy. So, again.
Well, I find it's weird that all of this stuff is stuff that, like, we can walk and chew gum. We can juggle. Like, we could talk about this one moment, talk about Israel, Palestine, talk about the Congo. We could hit all these different subjects at the same time. And all of these are things that would be in our purview, that are in our wheelhouse. And now you got accounts that normally would never touch any of this stuff, that it's been the main focus. And I definitely believe that powers that be, if they have an axe to grind against you, they will. And they have the power to do that. But at the same time, I don't rule out that if they want to take attention from something, then they got their people out there who will focus more on this issue. Now, us, whether all these other motherfuckers was covering this shit or not, we would be covering this any damn way.
You know, my only thing is that Lucian Grange, as I mentioned, is the head of the Universal Music Group. The fact that, you know, he didn't distance himself from Puff. He hasn't said any, like, oh shit. He basically came out and said that these are lies being told about Puff. Now, again, talk about somebody of importance. Who is it? He is super duper important. And I know a lot of people are not familiar with that name, Lucian Grange, and they don't know what his position is. But that is, you talk about really important. Yeah, he's a very important person. And the fact that he hasn't shit on Puff, even though he was named as, you know, he's one of the defendants in the case that Lil Rod filed. So I'm like, oh, you went so far as to name Lucian? Okay, now his attorney's gonna fire back. I hope Lil Rod prepared for that.
Yeah, from the looks of this dude, it looked like that's gonna be Lil Rod might unless he really got something, this might be a problem.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be fucking with these people.
Well, the whole industry, the entire industry funds all of this, because all they do is front the rappers, they front the label heads and all this shit. They just front a lot of cash and get you to sign these contracts that you'll never fulfill. They front you an amount that they know you're never going to be able to repay, and therefore you become their slave or their do boy or do girl or their prostitute, whatever term you want to use for it. But you know, they're very good. Yeah, they're very good in this art of business in making you go into this industry with one idea, and you often leave it very bitter because the things that you signed, you weren't fully aware of the things that you were signing, and it basically caused you to become their slave after they're done promoting you.
Or you get turned into a prag. For those who watch Oz and know what that is. You get turned into a prag. But you know, that's all like, oh, wait a minute. No, I'm not. I'm not going to share that on here. Something that it was something Rizzo was talking about the other day. I was like, nah, I'm gonna hold back on that one. He was going into how certain companies, even Krispy Kreme, was owned by partially founded by certain group of people that a lot of people don't like these days, or haven't liked since the or haven't people that haven't been very much liked since the 30s, if they ever were liked, you know. So they had some ties to a little short man with a little funny beard in Germany. And so he was going through all these different corporations, which a lot of people love right now, and going into how, the man with the little funny mustache from Germany, how he learned about, you know, inoculating people and eugenics out of California, and was learning some things out of stuff that was happening in Arizona. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I'll
If
let y'all
anything,
look
that
up
guy,
RZA.
the way that people like to talk in basketball terms, the dude that you're talking about is Kobe. The mentor, the U.S. would be Mike Jordan. In that analogy, in that one tried to copy the other one and outdo him. Because in his own writings, what did he say in his goddamn book? Goddamn, I like how they handle all these fucking migrant, all these natives. I love how they handle them. He
I
says that
love
in his
how
own
they
book.
handled the darkies too.
Yes, correct. So that wasn't something over there. It was, he saw this and was like, damn, we need to do it like that.
Mm-hmm. It's like, when we all grew up, we had like for athletes, speaking for athletes, or for somebody who just like had somebody they looked up to and wanted to be like when they grew up, whether you wanted to be like some kind of singer or musician or whatever, we was just trying to copy their moves.
Oh,
I'll just
Marcus,
leave
I
it at
just want to
that.
give a PSA before we get out of here. Look, especially because this is kind of new in this space, right? In the sports pod space, the what's the other one? Anyway, just a lot of these new podcasts formed by Black people, whether they're former athletes, whether they're former entertainers and the like. Guys, just be careful with the gambling. They pushing this shit hard on us in ways that it was never marketed towards us like this before. Please just be very mindful, because if you get into gambling, it can really screw your life up. I've seen it happen to people. Just be careful. All these apps on all these channels constantly telling you just sign up. We'll give you we'll match your donation. We'll do this. We'll do that, etc., etc. Watch yourself. Watch your pockets. Watch your coins. Okay. And just because you hit it doesn't mean that there's not taxes and other issues that you have to be concerned about. For instance, if you owe child support and you hit, and the number you hit for is less than what you need to pay off child support, you ain't getting no money. 1-800-bets off. So again, I just wanted to bring that to people's attention because it really is all over the place now. All of the gambling ads and companies that have just propped up out of the last, several months here, not even years, several months, geared to me. I never used to hear this. This time last year, I didn't hear about this. This time the year before, I didn't hear these ads. And going back, I didn't hear these ads. Now, everything is gambling. So just be careful, yo. Because Marcus, and to that point, did you see the story about the NBA player who got in trouble this week for gambling on himself?
No, I honestly, what's as far as the gambling thing that's been the big heat over here is what is it? The dude tied to Otani.
Oh yes, the baseball player, the translator. Yes.
Yeah,
And
that's been a big story, taking up all the
yeah,
oxygen out here.
yes, it has, because the other thing is that, do we really know if it was a translator really gambling, or
Yeah,
was
because a
that
lot of
outside
people,
gambling?
because I mean, it's not looking good right now. And
It's not.
the people out of the Dodgers organization, they've been kind of like walking on eggshells dealing with it. So I mean,
Hmm.
you just rolled out like 4 or 5 Brinks trucks to pay Shohei Ohtani,
Bring them. Yeah.
and now it could be possible this motherfucker been doing a bunch of illegal gambling.
There was like the dude, I can't remember. I think his name is John Tay Taylor or John Tay something. And I can't remember what team he plays on, but clearly that's not a name that you go, oh yeah, I know who this dude is. Anyway, yo, so the Knights in question that they were investigating him for, in the end, out of all the NBA bets, his bet was like, the bets on his name and his performance were the highest in the league that night. That's over LeBron, AD, Anthony Edwards, Jokic, Luka, Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry. That's over all these dudes. This guy that nobody ever heard of, it's him whose name is generating the highest amount of bets. So I guess his over under, I guess he was supposed to have like 7 points. He played like 2 minutes, took a shot, and then left the game hurt. Of course, his people made a shit ton of money that day.
Mm-mm-mm.
Man, I be thinking about it, man. Sometimes, is it a life of crime? Is it that bad?
College basketball has not been exciting this season. It's been a
The
bunch of a
women's
letdown.
section, the women's side of college basketball been fire.
Well, I don't watch the women's. But
You're not gonna watch LSU Iowa?
only because of the 2 big
Caitlin
names. So I
Clark?
watched that. Yeah.
Yo, Caitlin Clark she different.
I
You see
might
that?
watch that.
You see the Negroes and real quick, you saw the Negroes was mad because Ice Cube offered us some
Oh, he
bread.
offering that contract? Yeah.
I'm like, they're like, oh, he wasn't, he all these years, he's not a black girl. Hey, yeah. Look, she is shooting and playing like the college women's version of Steph Curry. We have seen other athletes cook and play ball before, and they have resembled other players too. But again, the Curry phenomenon, that shit has taken over. The Warriors' style of play, that phenomenon has taken over basketball totally. So it would make sense that he would reach out to somebody that plays like Steph Curry.
Well, he trying to get her before she go into the draft. That's what he's doing.
Well,
Don't blame
he
him.
got also he got beef with the NBA. So he's
Of
trying to
course.
do what he can to try to mess with them also.
Well, he could. Well, at least on the WNBA front, he could definitely make. He could definitely probably promise her more money.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact, man. So anyway, that was it, man. Sorry I took us on a tangent, but
Well, sorry.
man, we
I
have
see
fun
streets
today.
down there trolling me, talking about Alabama. I mean, seeing
All
that
right, man,
we got bounced out early to fucking Gonzaga.
oh yeah, I saw.
And
Everybody's
embarrassingly, we got beat down by Gonzaga.
yeah,
That was an embarrassing loss.
Yeah,
But that said, he an NC fan. Oh gosh. Here we go.
1-800 bets off. Good shit, streets. But anyway, thank you guys for coming through, hanging with us for a little bit on Saturday, whether you were here from the beginning to the end. If so, thank you. If not, you watch
Or
us
whether
on the
you're
replay.
catching this later.
Yeah, or you catching the replay later. We appreciate it. Please, I hear people always say hit the like button, subscribe. You know, should you feel like subscribing to another program or feel like hitting another like button, just do it. It ain't gonna kill you. If you don't want to hear, I should just swipe it away or unsubscribe later. But you know, just hook us up. You know what I mean?
Or do us like you do all them other channels. Just subscribe and don't watch us, and just boost our number. Get it because I see, man, there's a lot of accounts where I'm like, you got like 10,000 subscribers and yet you get 70 views every video. I'm like, come on, can y'all just get us to the 1,000 hump? Can y'all get us to 1,000?
Well, you know, it's a lot of competition out here. You know, the internet, as vast as it is, it still has lanes, and some of these lanes, even in the wide expanse that is the internet, fill up. So, you know, maybe we'll just switch it up and do like the cultural matrix, so we won't talk any politics, and it'll just be cultural shit, whether it's music, trends in working, real estate, you know, entertainment, shit like that. Sports.
Yes, everybody hit the like button. Boost the algorithm.
Word, boost the crime rate. Boost the crime rate.
All right, but on that note, much appreciated. Much love to everybody. Y'all have a safe weekend. If you're out in the LA area, make sure you be careful of the crazy ass weather. You know, a lot of people can't drive in the rain, and it's rainy out here, so y'all be careful. That said, this has been a Political Matrix. I'm your host, Young Morpheus, here with my brother and colleague, Mr. Cy Lawson. See y'all later.
Peace out, everybody.